gave my son's half-sister birthday gifts, but her father had a problem with it.
What's your problem, man?
I am 32 male, and 8 years ago, from a short fling, I have a son.
What?
My son's mother was a single mother of 2 at the time, and has had 1 more kid after then. My son is 7. By the way, this comes from Street Rub 2034, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, it was a messy ordeal at first, and I was convinced he wasn't my kid, but DNA test.
Uh-oh.
He's like, I was really hoping, but DNA test got me. Yada yada. And it was proved he was my kid. She didn't sue me for child support as she didn't have the funds, but I wasn't going to let my son grow up without money, so we have an agreement. I pay her around $3 to $4K a month. I work sales and get a bonus yearly, so I pay more during the holiday season, and I make mid 100K range, so it's more than what the court would have ordered, but I want to be fair. She has said sometimes she uses my money on her other kids, and that's whatever. All this to say, I think I'm pretty fair. Whenever I go bring a meal to my kid or give him a console, a Switch 2 recently,
Ooh, fancy.
I tell him to share it with his siblings, or I bring them a meal too so they can all eat together. I even gave them all presents for their birthday, so they don't feel left out when I only give presents to my kid. I'm not a holier-than-thou guy, I just want him to have a good relationship with his siblings. And if money and gifts allow that, I'm okay with it. Honestly, props to you, dude.
Yeah, we've definitely read a lot of stories where there is some sort of hierarchy amongst the siblings. So you're doing a great job.
Excellent work. Last thing I want is for his siblings to resent him for favoritism. Once his mom and I are gone, they will be his only family, which is why I treat them well and even let my money being used for his other siblings slide. His sister has a father who tries his best. He tries.
He tries.
I'll call him Mark, 36 male. Recently, he reached out to me and said when I bring gifts for my son, he would prefer it if my son did not share them, and if I could stop giving gifts to his daughter. No. No, that's stupid.
That is stupid.
Are you just not giving gifts to your daughter?
Yeah.
He's like, you're making me look bad because I don't get her anything.
Right, then do better.
So apparently his daughter, 13, is now comparing him to me and is saying that I give her better gifts or whatever and see them more. She apparently says she wishes I was her dad.
Well,
Mark, maybe you gotta step up, bud.
yeah, you can't. The wrong answer is to make the other guy just worse. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
He's like, I want her to have lower expectations.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I told Mark that I'll see what I can do, but now I feel kind of bad. Mark is the only other father who is genuinely trying, from what I can tell, and maybe I set the standards too high? What? What are you talking about, OP?
Yeah.
We should be setting standards high for our children about what their parents are doing for them and how they're showing up.
Right. I think we got to talk to Mark, figure out why
Yeah.
he can't show up as much as you can.
Yeah.
And if it's like a genuine reason of like, oh, I'm so busy, I just don't make enough money, blah, 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 then we can maybe explain that to the daughter.
Exactly, because I think there is a difference between doesn't show up because he's working really hard to provide,
Right.
all this stuff, but also I don't know if that is necessarily true. If
Yeah.
OP's wife or ex-wife,
Yeah.
I don't know, is it wife? Let's refer to the sheet.
Let's refer to the sheet. OP is the father. Son is 7. Son's mother, not mentioned. Mother of OP's son. Okay, so they're just exes.
Okay, well, yeah, so if OP's son's mom is using OP's money to pay for all of the kids,
Yeah.
I would imagine that he's not necessarily contributing that much, Mark. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, if he's the only other father that's genuinely trying, it seems, then let's figure out why we're not meeting OP's standards.
and what do you mean only other father genuinely trying?
Yeah, how many fathers
How many fathers are
there? There is a younger brother, so I'm assuming that is
Is it
from
a different
another
father?
3 kids, 3 fathers.
I am wondering,
One mother.
is she just having a lot of flings? No judgment?
No judgment.
Are they all from different flings?
Let's maybe just see what preventative options can work the best for us.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
My son's mother made the mistake of telling his daughter that I also fund some of their lifestyles since I pay the most in child support. I feel bad about all of this. The girl seemed kind of sweet, so I'm surprised she would say things like this to her dad. She helps my son with his homework and is a good older sister to him. so I feel like I've been treating her as she treats my kid. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't know why my son's mother brought financial information to her kids, and now I don't know what to do about Mark. I don't want to change how I treat my son's siblings because I don't want him to have a bad relationship with him. My parents treated my younger brother better than me, and I have a not so great relationship with him now because of that. And I just don't want the same for my kid. So am I the a-hole for going above and beyond just for the sake of my son being treated better by his siblings at the cost of Mark and his daughter's relationship? And edit, seeing comments about making a trust fund and college stuff for my son. Just wanted to put this out there. I also made a comment explaining he does have a trust and a 529 plan. His mother is not aware of these, but he does have these, and money is going here aside from the money I give her. I was helped through college by my folks, and I plan on doing the same for him. Also, I own the apartment I live in, and he will be receiving it. He is also included in my parents' will as well, with a separate trust they have given him, in which I will be the guarantor until he is 25. And we've got some relevant comments and an update, but any thoughts from you?
I'm sorry, are you the a-hole for going above and beyond for your child?
In what way?
Like,
in what way?
No!
Not at all.
Not at all!
Not only are you providing way more than legally expected from you for your son, but yeah, again, you're going above and beyond for all of the kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also too, this girl's 13 years old.
Yeah.
Prime time for her to be like, my dad sucks.
Yeah, I wish that this guy was my dad. Like, that's just 13-year-old lingo, man.
Right. She's gonna think that probably either way.
Yeah.
And this is just her excuse for that thought process.
Absolutely.
So just let her do that. Keep showing up, Mark, and eventually she'll come around and she'll understand.
Yeah. And also, I don't even think you really, I don't know. Like, yes, Mark has a right to talk to you about his kid, but also maybe he can just like talk to your son's mom.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be the relationship there.
Where is she?
I don't know.
She's clearly the one who's mostly taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
So
seems like it.
Why is she not a part of this conversation?
I don't know. But we've got some comments. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole, but I do think it's insane you're paying her that much in child support. OP says, I made an edit about the 529 and trust comments. He's fine in that aspect. I can afford to pay her this much for now, which is why I'm doing it. I own the place I live in right now, so I don't pay rent, and the income I listed is only for my job. I have other income streams, real estate and ETFs mostly, so I think it'll be fine. Granted, it's nowhere as much as my salary, but I have more than enough to get by. I have more money, it's just not liquid. My son's mother is quite literally unable to hold down a job. I made a mistake having my son with her, but now that my son is here, I can't let that be an excuse when I'm able to afford to give them that much. I love my kid. I do not regret my son at all.
Just so we're clear.
He's like, it was a mistake, but I was a happy accident.
Yeah, the only thing that I regret is having it with this mom.
Yeah. If I let her take me to court, our custody agreement right now is not set in stone, and my son spends some time over the summer and holidays at my house or with my folks. I'm not going to risk anything. I don't complain about his mother to him, ever, but she can be really vindictive if her needs are not met. I reap what I sow, and if putting up with her until my kid is 18 is the best thing for him, I'll do what I need to do. The way I see it is, this is the price I pay for not thinking about the consequences of my actions. And we've got an update 3 weeks later. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's the literal price that you have to pay.
Yeah, $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
Yeah. That's a big number.
I do think that you could go, to court and have a more ironed out visitation child support stuff so she can't hold anything over your head because you said she's pretty vindictive.
Right.
And I think they would, lean in your favor seeing as you pay so much and are so active in their lives. So I would suggest that.
Yeah. And maybe now's your time to start gathering evidence of your contribution.
Yes.
Just in case. And yeah, I would agree. That sounds like the safest route to go.
But we got an update 3 weeks later. Picking up where I left off, as everyone suggested, I had a face-to-face with Mark. I told him that our kids are really gonna only have each other once all of us and their mother passes away. And while I understand where he was coming from, I felt it was unwise. Mark agreed and confessed that he had made that initial call to me in a fit of anger and hurt at his own daughter and their mother. I actually respect Mark a lot. The dude is a former gangbanger turned around and found God recently and opened his own hardware repair store. It's just as with any new business, he was struggling since it had only been 17 or so months since he opened his store. So he scaled back the money he was giving their mother, and she took it out on him by telling his daughter our financial information. That's so messed up.
That's crazy lore from Mark over here.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, so she did that on purpose, despite me. That's tough. He apologized for being out of line and offered to pay for the meal, and I took him up on that. He said he would have a word with his daughter about respect and asked me if I could tell their mother to not divulge finances and put pressure on her. He also said he always appreciated that I treated the kids similarly and asked if I would be okay if he did like mini circuits and other small electronic projects with my kid. Since the last time he visited his daughter and bought her a circuit set, my son seemed to like it. I know jack crap about hardware, and it's probably a good skill to have, so I'm happy someone can teach him. I guess it's his way of returning the gesture. And by the way, you can return the gesture to us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like where Mark is going with this.
Yeah, he owned up
Yep.
for getting mad.
Yep.
He said, "Hey, let me buy you a meal,
Right.
and I wanna have fun times with your kid too."
That's exactly what we wanted from you, Mark.
Good
Thanks,
job,
man.
Mark.
Good job. Yay.
I feel bad for that youngest kid.
Yeah,
Who
where's
seemingly
his
doesn't.
dad?
Yeah, his dad is not here.
Right.
Sucks. And also, this mom doesn't seem great. But
Yeah. I want to know more about her.
yeah.
Because
What's the lore there?
why is she the one with seemingly full custody or most custody of
Yeah.
these kids if we're not hearing about anything she's doing?
I don't know. And she doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
Interesting. But there's a little left. So after that conversation a little over 2 weeks ago, I went to their house, spent the usual time with my son. My son loves Chick-fil-A. Got them all Chick-fil-A. Afterwards, I pulled their mother aside and told her everything, essentially. As usual, anytime I tried to have a conversation with her, it resulted in her yelling and throwing crap at me. She said I did not have a right to dictate what I could and could not tell her daughter, who wasn't even my kid. Well, Mark also doesn't want you telling his daughter, who is his kid, that.
Yeah.
So
I also don't want you to throw things.
please stop. I tried arguing that finances that are related to me should be private out of respect for me, but she didn't budge. Everything with her either blows up into an argument or she tries to offer something else to pacify me. I was really exhausted that day, so nothing came of trying to talk to her. I just told her she shouldn't expect support if she can't respect my boundaries, but she mocked me, saying stuff like, "I know how to get you to pay, don't even try." I reconvened with Mark over the phone, explained what happened, and politely told him I tried my best. He thanked me for trying and said he would have his own talk with her. Sorry it wasn't a happy update. It's so exhausting dealing with her sometimes. I really think that you should go to court.
I agree. This
Yeah.
woman should not be watching your child.
No, she seems pretty bad. And also, I
Yeah.
think Mark should look into getting custody.
Yeah. I think you guys should all go to court. You should all get custody of your children. And then you and Mark be buds. And then
And then
the
you can have play
kids-
dates.
Yeah, you can have
Yeah.
play dates. Like all the time.
Yeah.
And sleepovers, all that kind of stuff.
And then you and Mark fall in love and
Sure.
you move in together.
Yeah.
And then all of your and then you find a way to get that other kid.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see where that other dad's
yeah.
at.
Yeah, and you say, "I want your son." He says, "What? I have a
Sit-
son?"
Yeah. Oh my God. Does he even know?
Maybe not.
I have so many questions.
If they're all flings, maybe not.
Maybe.
But that's the end of that story, folks. And we've got another one coming right up.
Ooh, yeah.
My son blew every dollar I gave him. Now he wants college paid for.
You should have kept all those dollars.
My ex-wife, 36 female, and I, 36 male, have been divorced for 7 years now. We have twins, both 17, female and male. My wife and I are the stereotype of high school sweethearts. I'm more of a geek. She was a cheerleader. My son takes after my wife, and my daughter takes after me. By the way, this comes from user Throwaway Save Yo Dollar. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. As OP says, when they were younger, I gave them the option of allowance. They could either spend the money on what they wanted, or I could walk them through investments and start saving. My wife was all for this all at the time. We explained that they each have a set amount of money that we have put away for future schooling as well as a car fund. At first, both of my kids decided to invest it, and I started to show them how to and the risk involved. My son put his into a very risky investment against my advice, and guess what? He ended up losing it and decided not to do it anymore within a few weeks. My daughter started off rough, but quickly got the hang of it, playing with different investments and companies. She has been in the positive most weeks. The issue is that due to this, my daughter has saved up more money than her brother. She also likes to spend most of her time over at my house versus my son over at my ex-wife's house. My daughter's interests are more minimalistic when it comes to most things and does not spend a lot of money. She will when she finds things she likes. She's not into fashion, rarely puts on makeup, and when she does, it is very light. Bought a used but nice car, etc. They just got their acceptance letters for college, and she will be able to pick any of her choices due to grades and her savings plus our contributions. My son, on the other hand, spends most of his money when he gets it. Always has new clothes constantly, bunch of shoes, bought a new, very expensive car with payments, goes out all the time and spends everything he gets. My son is upset because he can't go to the college he wants to because he would need to get a loan. And with what I make, he doesn't qualify for much. My ex says I need to stop favoring my daughter and that I'm financially hurting my son and just paying for his college. Among other things, her and her side of the family are calling me an a-hole for not paying because you easily could. I told them when they had a choice when they were younger, and guess what? He didn't listen. I told them that they had a choice when they were younger. I also pointed the fact that if he had saved his money, he would have been also able to go where he wanted. He needed to get a job to cover costs if he wanted to go. And life was about choices. Am I the a-hole here? We have some comments. Comment number 1. In what age did you let them start investing the money? Opie says, before their teen years is when I first showed them. Start them up young. Reply, oh yeah, that seems a little bit too early.
So you gave a 10-year-old a ton of money and said, what do you want to invest this in? And you showed them. But then when he wanted to make a really risky thing, you just said, yeah, go for it. And then he lost it in a week and you were like, how did the 10-year-old lose his investment in a week? My daughter did it so much better. Yeah, I don't know. Your daughter's different than your son.
Yeah. And I guess both parents were on board with this too. Interesting. You started them. I feel like you should have been like, here's $20.
Right.
You know?
How much money did we give these younger than teenagers?
Yeah. Like my parents were like, you're like little by little by little. But this was like, we're going to open the world of wonders even before your teenage years. The choice is yours.
Woo.
OP responds with, it was. But I never pushed them. It started out as, Daddy, what are you doing? And I showed them, and they seemed interested. Then after a bit, it was, can we try? So I let them mess around with some of my money investments. That's so interesting. Okay, it's your money, your kids, you can do whatever you want.
The definition of money to burn. I let my kids handle a couple of mutual funds, It's just a light,
invested?
$70,000 of assets.
Hey, kiddos, what do you like? You want to invest in that? Sure.
I like rocket ships.
Yeah,
And ironically, would have probably been a great
the
investment.
son probably did a rocket ship and it probably exploded or something.
Literally.
It's like, how did you guys become like the first SpaceX investors? I don't know. My kid liked rocket ships. That's it's all I know.
Crazy. OP continues with, my ex and I discussed it and we decided to let them have some money to try it. I did keep asking him to try again throughout the years, but he didn't care. I gave up almost 2 years ago when he said he wanted to live almost full-time at his mom's house. We had an argument that made me back off. I didn't just stop and drop it when he was really young. Headed to ad number 2. We did not give him his college fund. He has enough money in his college fund that he can attend a community college for 4 years or a good college for 2. Nothing fancy or big. The money that was invested was allowance or spare money. My daughter would use birthday money, Christmas money, allowance, or any extra chore money. His fund was never used in any way other than for school. It is safe and locked up. Allowance was free to use money. The school and car fund were separate and not accessible by the kids. I'm not bragging, but I could send them to the best colleges for as many years as they want. Sounds like a brag. And fund their life comfortably. Added to ad number 3.
Okay.
From a comment. Question on what I meant by among other things. Basically, unlimited schooling, backpacking trip across Asia, paying his car off, lodging near campus, and living money were all brought up. Most by my ex-wife. She has not put anything towards these funds. And we have an update. So, my original Am I the A-hole post was about showing favoritism for my daughter and financially hurting my son. The comments went way far from that topic. It was interesting for me. For the people who sent me aggressive messages, not cool. Some questions to be addressed. Question 1. Why would I just not pay for everything? Here's the answer. I'm trying to teach my kids about financial responsibility. Money has value, and nothing is given without work. I bet if my son posted his view, you would call him an entitled a-hole. Question 2. But they were so young when they started gambling with money in the stock market, or at least addressing the question 2. Opie says, true, but they have grown up since then. Have they? Doesn't seem like it. Seems like your son hasn't really grown up. Yes, they are still kids, but maturity does not just develop at 25 like some people on here think. You gave them their college fund to waste. No, the college fund has always been secured and untouched unless I was putting money into it. They used allowance money. Another question here, why are you not giving him a good start in life? Opie responds with, he has a better start than the majority of people. So, back to the story. I talked to my daughter. She said she would be upset if I just gave him the money. She worked hard and values her time and effort. I agreed. That would be a bad idea. But we came up with 3 options. I added a 4th one to present to him/my ex-wife. All of them had rules attached, and the same amount would be given to my daughter.
Weird that you came up with these rules with your daughter.
Well, he learned the mistakes with the son.
I don't know. I see a lot of people coming at me being like, but he can just go to community college for free for 4 years. That's so true. Some people's local community colleges, though, aren't great or wouldn't have what they needed. So I'm just saying, like, if you have the funds, help a kid out.
Nah, I'm kind of the opposite. If this kid,
If he truly is being like an entitled brat that's like, just give me the money, like I deserve to go where I want, then yeah, screw you, dude. You have a college fund, you have a car fund. But if it's coming from a place of like, I only taught my kid like money saving techniques when he was 10 and then got mad that he spent his birthday money, I don't think you taught him very well.
I think it depends, because like he had twins. One of them followed the advice.
They're twins.
Yeah, one of them followed the advice. The other one not so much. One's upset that the other one has, more savings, and he's like, "Well, that's not fair."
Yeah,
and he's
I
like,
still don't.
"Well, you know what? Life's not fair.
Yeah.
You made your
I still
choice."
don't think that he just deserves to get everything that the daughter worked hard for, like, handed to him, but, like, some sort of payment plan or some sort of, like, okay, we didn't spend our money right. How can we work out something that you can, like, have what you need to succeed in life now? Like, how can we get you to even just, like, a state school or something?
I think they're fine.
Well, he can go 2 years.
I think they're perfectly fine. I think he has a college fund and a car fund. I think he's just upset he's not going to his top school that daddy can pay for.
I want to know what his top school is.
And we have some rules here. Rule number 1, he sells his car and some of his shoe collections to save money and put it towards the fund, and I will help him again to make passive income. Rule number 2, or option 2, he picks a lower college that is more cost effective but still a good school. He gets a job, and I will match his pay. Option 3, I just give him the money, but as a loan, 0% interest, but he has to pay back it in a timely manner. Money, if paid back, will go back to him in the future. Down payment or wedding or something. And option 4, my ex-wife and family put in the difference in the account. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Go to your favorite podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. It's a little bit left here. There's anything else to add? I mean, looks like they have pretty solid options here for the kid, for son.
No, I was fully on team, like, give the kid a loan that he has to pay back. And that sounded like one of the options.
I think you know what? You bought a very expensive car. You bought, I don't know, how many shoes? How many shoes have you used in the, out of your collection? Sell some of those things that you don't need. And then, like,
well, yeah, he might have to sell that to pay back the loan and stuff, too.
Well, maybe.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Just, like, some sort of, like, fine, if you really want to go where you want and I have the funds to, you can, but, like, not for free. like you will
No,
pay.
this is again, I think those were great options. Let's go ahead and finish up the story. I laid it out all for him. My ex and him did not like it. So I asked my ex why she is pushing this so much and why she has not put any money into the account since we originally opened it. There were excuses, and she finally said, I have to save money to my daughter, who is 6, almost 7. Unless you want to set up a fund for her as well. I am setting things up with my youngest daughter, 3 female, the same way I did with my twins. I'm not doing it for her daughter. Again, they're divorced. Anyway, I have given him a few weeks to figure it out what he wants. He acknowledged that I was right. He was unfair to his sister about the way he went about things and will do better in the future. He picked a modified version of option 2. He's still going to his number 4 pick, is looking for a job. He sold some shoes and said he will be responsible for housing costs. He apologized to me and his sister. I hope he keeps working hard towards his goals. We have some comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole. Looks like an excellent plan to me. Who cares if his ex is pissed? Reply saying, ex being pissed is the cherry on top. I am petty. You're Tom Petty?
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, you're in the
Yeah.
comments?
Close
Now
enough.
I'm
Welcome back,
wondering-
Tom Petty.
Thomas Petty, welcome back.
Now I'm wondering how much of that was just mom making demands.
I think it's a bit of both. I think the son is a little
I think
spoiled.
it's a good amount of both. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee you it was the son being like stomping his feet and like, I didn't get this, mom, kind of
We
thing.
didn't hear that side of it though. I feel weird making that like assumption of it.
Yeah,
when
you're
the
right.
only person that we heard like being like, why aren't you doing this was ex-wife.
I mean, we only got one side of it, and that is
Yeah.
the unfortunate.
Like even
sometimes
ex-wife
fortunate
was the
thing.
one to be like, you need to fund his backpacking trip. It wasn't son being like, but why aren't you fundraising my backpacking trip, papa?
But it also just sounds like, yeah, it does
That's
sound
what he
like
sounds
it does
like
sound like
now.
OP is so well off that like
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love the not here to brag.
Not here to brag, but I could totally pay for anything you wanted.
Yeah,
He could go to Moon College if he wanted
Yeah.
to.
I can literally buy him the college on the moon. Yeah. But that is the end of that story.
My family found my secret life and now they're on to me.
If you are a secret agent, this is really embarrassing.
I, 23 male, moved out on midnight of my 18th birthday and left a note that I'm going to be better off without them and that I'm legally an adult now, so they can't report me missing and force me to move back with them. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Drum B, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Dakota.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my life has been so much better since then. I got married and had a child with the love of my life, and things have been peaceful until I got a couple of emails. The TLDR version of the emails is basically one family member decided to search me up and ended up finding me because my name isn't exactly common. They saw the life that I was able to build for myself in terms of marrying the woman of my dreams and to building a very good financial status. What seems to be the biggest sore point was the fact that I had a 1-year-old kid and didn't tell anyone. I'm guessing they don't know what no contact means. They said that they were going to be suing me for visitation rights. That's not how that works.
That's a really weird way to try to start that dialogue up again. Hey,
yeah.
saw that you have a great life and a family. I'm suing you because you didn't tell me about your child.
Where I'm at, grandparents or siblings are able to sue for visitation rights of their niece or nephew or grandchild. Yeah, but I feel like they're not going to win this.
It's just so annoying that that's even...
Yeah, I haven't replied to any of these emails yet, but I don't know what to do. What legal rights do I have to keep myself and my child from being exposed to my family? I mean, just literally say what they did. Just be like, they were unhealthy, so I left.
Yeah.
And how do I go about stressing the point that I want no contact, or that I went no contact with a reason? Comment 1 says, unless you're actually getting sued, you sit tight and continue the no contact policy. If you do get sued, you hire a lawyer. Comment 2 says, even if your state acknowledges grandparents' rights, that doesn't mean that their lawsuit will be successful. In fact, their chances are slim to none. For grandparents' rights to be enforced, you have to show that there is a meaningful relationship between the child and the grandparent, which in this case does not exist. I would just wait and see if they actually sue, then get a lawyer. But fortunately, they don't have a very good case here, so don't worry about it. Comment 3 says no response, no acknowledgement of anything. Nothing will come of this. 5 years of no contact says everything. Grandparents and siblings do not automatically have the right to see your kid just because you have one.
I cannot fathom the amount of a-hole
Yeah.
you have to be no contact for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you do is threaten to sue them for the right to their child.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, well, maybe this is why I haven't seen you in 5 years.
so
about that?
clearly a reason why he does not want anything to do with you.
Yeah. These cases are usually based on a child being in someone's life, then removed. They don't have a leg to stand on. Don't sweat it. Common 4 says grandparents and siblings being able to sue for visitation rights is literally the dumbest effing thing I've ever heard of in my life. If you have to, well, there are cases where it does make sense.
There's a reason that it's
Yeah,
a thing, but
yeah.
it's like, clearly I didn't realize that those were the, requirements.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense because
It
now they
does.
can't just, for no reason, be like, I
You're not
want
gonna
the
see-
baby.
Yeah.
I am the grandparent, give me the baby.
If you have to go to court, if you have a good reason for leaving your family at 18, then that should help you in your case. If it's something like, we just argued a lot, I don't know your chances of winning it, but I wish you the best of luck. Comment 5 says, it's always crazy how manipulating parents get mad for not being involved in their child's life after they made one for themselves. Then they act like they're entitled to everything because they're your parents after not speaking for years. Just because you're blood doesn't mean anything. You can't treat your children like trash and expect them to want you in their life when they're older. And there is an update. But yeah, I don't think your parents have any leg to stand on here.
Your parents ain't got no legs.
They are legless. And you're good. Continue your perfect life. Update. Some people were messaging me and some people commented telling me that I need to move states. Unfortunately, I built a life and career out here and that's simply not possible. I own property here as well. As for those people, I didn't contact them. My lawyer contacted them, and I am again not going in detail, but they haven't emailed me or contacted me since. Nice. I got a new phone number, house number, and so did my wife just to be on the safe side. I also have a new email, which I have been meaning to change anyways. I deleted some of my social media and only kept the stuff that is to deal with my band. My Instagram has been privatized, and I deleted a lot of people just to be on the safe side. So yeah, that's it. Sorry, it's not the eventful, action-packed updates some of you wanted. And the end of the day, I'm still not contacting them, and hopefully they won't try to do anything dumb. I'm basically pretending like I never got that email in my life, and it's the same as it was before. Comment 1. Great job. I really hope you are a frequent contributor on the sub. So many teens post here in similar situations, trying to get away from a toxic home life, but don't think they can survive on their own. You'd be a great success story for them to hear. And OP says I'll stick around then. I lucked out and was able to move in with my girlfriend at her parents', but there was a period where I felt like a burden, so I lived in my car and was pretty much homeless. I know that there are a lot of people who feel like they have to resort to running away from home and escape the clutches of bad parents, so I want to be an older brother of sorts for people. That's great. And I want to be a podcast for you people that you can listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, and just search a book at this, or just search a book at short time.
I want to be a podcast. I am a podcast.
How did I do that?
Help! Help! I'm stuck inside the pod.
Hey, let me out.
Cast me off from this pod.
Cast me out of this plane of existence.
I cast pod.
But there's a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, dude. Keep living the cool ass life you built, man.
Yeah,
Keep doing that.
keep doing it. And final comment. Yeah, your troubled parents have obviously changed you enough to cut them off. Now, without any kind of mending or compassion, they reach out with a threat. Their first contact in 5 years is a threat to sue. That is their move, and it is revealing of deeply immature people. What court would permit these vultures, who've already pecked at you for 2 decades, a second meal? It is in the best interests of the baby and the father to remain distant from the grandparents. Sounds like things are happy for you now. The fact they couldn't appreciate that or extend an apology or something human is so sad. The only benefit of poorly evolved people is the example they set. They teach us to not be like them. And there you go.
Poorly evolved people.
Dang, what a bar.
Are those
But-
just mutants?
Yes, mutants. Teenage mutants.
Mutants without good powers.
Teenage
Because they'd
Mutant
have to be
Ninja
poor. If
Turtles.
you're a mutant and you get like laser eyes, that's not poorly evolved. That's
No,
like
sick.
better evolved.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law ghosted me after I gave birth because she's jealous.
Maybe because she can't have kids anymore?
For some background context, I moved from Florida to Pennsylvania, currently 8 years ago. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 2 years now. Him and I had our son last year in September of 2024, and before I gave birth, everything seemed great with mother-in-law and grandma-in-law. And by the way, this comes from user objectivead1567, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know the goofy little things we know. So let us know what you know in the comments. As OP says. Mother-in-law and grandma-in-law would text me often when I was pregnant asking how I was doing and how were the doctor's appointments, etc. And my mother-in-law even planned the baby shower for us. I did ask her if she was planning to do it because I was told that mother-in-laws usually do the shower since my ex-mother-in-law did it for me with my first. So I thought that she was going to do it, but I wasn't sure, so I asked. And yes, she was kind enough to do it. But after I gave birth, everything completely changed. Mother-in-law, grandma-in-law, and grandpa-in-law came to the hospital and got to hold our son right away. I literally just pushed him out, not even 45 minutes before, and they stayed in the room with us for almost 3 hours. I mean, I never saw an issue with it. Maybe I'm being too nice, but I don't see that as too much. I've always been for family and been pretty lenient, especially since I also have a daughter, who is my first, who is a toddler now and not my fiance's child. But our son is my second child. My mom and my stepdad made plans to come see us right after our son was born, and they bought tickets to come see me 3 days after coming home from the hospital, and could only spend time for 1 week. Mind you, I had not seen my mom or my stepdad for almost 5 years, and my boyfriend explained to his mom that it would be best for her to just wait so that I can soak in the time that I have with my mom, and she can spend enough time with our son before they leave, since it would probably be a long time until we all see each other again. Fast forward, 2 weeks have now passed that I had already given birth, and my mom had already left. Yet I did not receive a single call or text from mother-in-law or grandmother-in-law asking if I was okay, if I was healing all right, or if I needed anything, or how the baby's doing, even during the time my mom was here. Yeah, clearly, your mother-in-law is taking this as, oh, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be there around the baby. When your mom is in town, I'm not allowed? Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll never talk to you again. If that's what you want, which is not what you wanted.
I don't know. You can't have low emotional intelligence on things like this as a new grandparent.
On babies. Low baby emotional intelligence. What a fool thing to have.
It's contagious.
This isn't even the first grandbaby you've had, so you can't use grandbaby hysteria as your excuse. So what is it?
With the mother-in-law.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, mother-in-law. My bad. My bad. I feel like she could have checked in at least. But I took it upon myself to reach out and update them and send some pictures of the baby. And all I got from mother-in-law was, oh my God, he looks so much like his dad. She did not ask me how I was doing or how my parents' visit was or anything. Part of me was a little surprised because I thought everything was okay, but for some reason it made me feel some type of way since everything before giving birth seemed normal. Another 2 weeks go by, and still no one had reached out. And then mother-in-law and grandma-in-law made plans with boyfriend to finally come up and see us almost a month later. When they arrived, I handed our son to mother-in-law, and she got to hold him the entire time that she was here, and I never made it an issue. Also, nobody washed their hands before holding the baby, which I think is crucial that I think most people would understand before picking up a newborn coming from the outside. But yet I let it slide and didn't say anything. Maybe that's my fault. It is.
Yeah, that is your fault.
Also, at the time, I had not told my boyfriend how I felt yet about any of this, so probably my fault also. Yeah. I just didn't want to jump to conclusions either. Fast forward. A week goes by, and I didn't hear from anyone until mother-in-law made plans for us to go up to her house and stay the night. At that point, I wasn't so sure how I felt about staying the night at her house after I felt like they practically abandoned me after I gave birth. But I still agreed to it, and we went. It was literally the worst night ever.
Oh.
When we got there, I had to change our son right away because it's almost a 2-hour drive to her house. And as I was changing him, Grandma-in-law walks into the living room.
Hello.
And she doesn't say hi or anything.
Aw.
But I also didn't see her either. She came up from behind me and she just went straight to my son and smiled and said hi to him. I didn't get a hi or hello or anything, not even a hug. Then mother-in-law walks into the living room and doesn't say anything either. The only person that actually said something to me was my boyfriend's little brother, who's 11, and asked me if I was healing all right after giving birth. And it was so genuine.
Stop.
Yeah. That's so cute.
The 11-year-old actually cares about you, and everyone else is acting like a child, wanting to see the baby and just take care of the baby and not the
11-year-old.
mom.
Yeah, he's just in there like, are you healing okay? I heard that sometimes when people have babies, they rip their gooch. I don't know what that is. No one will tell me.
I brought you some ice packs in case that might help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, then mother-in-law now wants to ask, how is mom doing? Referring to me, I suppose. Later that evening, mother-in-law decided to post pictures on Facebook and parade boyfriend and our baby and everyone with the baby except for my daughter and I. In a way that also made me feel a little left out, and I don't know if I'm tripping about that, but we were all together and we all stayed the night, so I'm not sure why she couldn't post everyone as a family since we were all there. But it's made me sad considering how I felt about everything else on top of it. That night, I cried myself to sleep in her house.
Oh.
And I finally explained to my boyfriend how I felt and what was going on. And he completely understood where I was coming from and comforted me. The next morning, he really just stuck by me and seemed upset by his mother-in-law and kept quiet. I told him not to confront them because I really just wanted to leave and we would discuss things at another time. So when we came downstairs in the morning, there was no one to be found. And then Grandma-in-law walks through the door and I hand her my son so she can hold him, and she held him for 2 hours straight. Eventually, she sat on a rocking chair and he had fallen asleep on her, and I wanted to give my son a kiss, but I didn't want to wake him. And I told her that I wanted to kiss him and that she had been holding him a little while now. Apparently, that seemed to really piss her off. So I just walked away. And then she gave our son to mother-in-law and said to her, you better not hold the baby that long because OP's going to throw a fit because I was holding the baby too long, apparently. And then everyone's mood changed completely.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's feeling a little more targeted.
What's that word? Hostile?
Yeah, definitely some hostile energy pumped into the room.
Man, I'm just so glad my family's chill. Like Christmas, there was a baby. We passing it around. It was all good, all love.
Yeah.
No one really cared.
No baby drama, baby politic drama.
Yeah, baby was doing good. Baby was smiling.
Dude, at the end of the day, that's all that counts. How's the baby? Is the baby good? Is the baby smiling? If the baby's smiling, I'm smiling. Kind of can't help it.
You really can't. It's contagious.
After that get-together, no one texted me ever. No one called. And I ended up being the one continuously updating everyone because I wanted us to be a family. Eventually, I gave up texting first. I find out only several months later, after mother-in-law finally reaches out to ask me how come her son doesn't answer her. I told her I have no idea why. And I truly didn't. I could also care less if he did or didn't, because he's already said poor things about her before we even had our son, and I'm usually understanding, but it only made me agree with him due to what has transpired. Anyways, she goes off on a rant saying how heartbroken she is that she doesn't hear from him, and proceeds to tell me she has been extremely upset that my parents came to see me and how she couldn't come up. There it is.
I mean, we got it out on the table. We're talking. The conversation's moving. We're not holding back.
Yeah, it only took several months for her to stop acting like an actual 13-year-old girl. And now she's acting like an adult. Cool. All right, let's see where we go. I would have liked her to meet my parents, but fiancé said she was going to be working all week also. So I don't understand how this upset her so bad to the point that she felt the need to completely abandon not only me, but her new grandson, and couldn't even ask me how he was doing or how I was doing or how the visit was. Completely ghosted. It seems a little jealous and selfish to me, in my opinion, considering she was the first relative to see our son and how I let her and her mother and father stay in the hospital room with us for as long as they wanted and hold my son, and I never complained about any of it. She also said that she was upset the night that we spent at her house. She also said that she was upset the night that we spent at her house because I changed my son's diaper, and she thought that I thought she wasn't competent enough to change a diaper, when literally I am running on 0 sleep and I'm just on autopilot being a mom. It had nothing to do with me thinking she was incompetent or anything. Ever since then, everything has always seemed so awkward. The visits, and his mom has not called once since our son was born. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and boyfriend is gone almost always more than 12 hours a day. So she would have to reach out to me to see her grandson, but she never did or does.
Dude,
Yeah.
when people get pushed to the brink of little things becoming microaggressions and doing that like for so long,
Mm.
it just ruins the tension within the house. I guess my question is, how do you come back from that? How do you work backwards there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you, like, this person, the mother-in-law is just like, this is about me. This is clearly about me. It's like, no, I'm literally changing my son's diaper on no sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you.
She
At
felt hurt
all.
about that. A little bit of, here we go, a little bit of grace. That's what we're missing here. I was trying to put my finger on it.
We need grace. We need grace, please. She always says, I'm sorry I don't call you as often as you want me to, but I'm heartbroken that my son ignores me all the time. Yet there is no such thing as often. Lady, you have never called me.
Ooh.
Not even once. And we only saw her and his family a handful of times out of the year. And she has only taken it upon herself to text me twice without me having to keep the connection, which was literally last month, asking how we were all doing. She complains all the time why her son doesn't answer her, or why we go to her mom's house instead of hers when we come up to visit. And she always says she feels like she isn't good enough for us. So she distances herself, and eventually, when it came down to it, she blamed me for her son missing the holidays. But you know, what's not exhausting is listening to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, whatever it may be. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I don't care. Just search OK Storytime and get to listening.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this mom is exhausting.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see how many rabid raccoons I would want in my backyard to fight this mother-in-law, and I think I'm up to 16.
16 rabid raccoons. And how high does the scale go? Oh, wait, there is no end to the scale. You could have an infinite number of rabid raccoons.
How many raccoons can you fit?
in my backyard?
I guess
Yeah.
that's the question.
I was like, how many could you tolerate before you're like, I'd rather tolerate the mother-in-law?
What's the cap though? How many?
Oh,
can
I got you.
fit?
I got you. I misunderstood.
As much as you have a 20 cubic foot backyard, how many could you tolerate in that backyard besides his mother-in-law? 16.
I think I would rather have
How many?
50 rabid
Oh my
raccoons in my backyard
gosh.
than have to deal with this lady.
50?
As long as I'm not out there with them, you know?
You do have to go out there sometimes.
I would just like call the city. I'd be like, there's a party in my backyard and no one was invited.
No, they live there. That's where
That's
they
what
live.
in the city would tell me that?
Yep.
Oof, that really changes my math. I'm gonna have to come back to this. The OP continues. I truly had no role in my boyfriend missing Christmas. And for months, she pretended to like me, but secretly had animosity towards me, and I didn't find out until several months later. Mother-in-law is like 45, I think, and this is her first grandson. Yes, boyfriend put her in her place. She eventually apologized to me, but it feels a little, half-hearted, just so she can have enough access. But I feel like I can't look at her the same. Boyfriend hadn't spoken to her for a month or so, but recently said only a happy birthday to her in September, and it seems like they're okay again, I guess. I just wanted to be close and have a family, but seems like how I am, which I have no idea since I've always given nothing but respect to her, is not her cup of tea. Thoughts? And that is the end of that story. Bringing it all the way back around with a cup of tea.
She was listening.
She was here.
I thought I'd never meet my son, but he found me 16 years later.
Don't just continue like that was okay.
Hey, all. To make a long story short,
Wow.
17 years ago, my girlfriend at the
Dumb.
time came to me and informed me that she was pregnant. We were in the process of splitting up when we found out. She already had one child. She already had one child
gentleman.
from another gentleman and was undecided about her next moves. But it was likely that she was moving back with her parents to get some life things sorted. Her parents are approximately 14 hours away. By the way, this comes from Wins. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do, if you want, in the comments. OP says, we discussed options and what each of us would like with respects to the child. It was agreed upon that our number one intent was to provide the child with a safe and stable household in which to grow up. Adoption was the direction we were leaning. Fast forward about 6 months into the pregnancy, she makes the decision to get back together with her first child's father and to attempt to repair that relationship. We discussed what would happen with the child's upbringing, and the father, one, would be willing to accept full responsibility for the child and would accept him as if he were father one's own. Fast forward again to the child being around 1 year old. I receive a phone call from the child's mother asking if I would like to meet. Just her and I to discuss things and catch up. I agree. We meet up and catch up. She gives me a couple photos from the first year of life. I'm also informed that the move back to be closer to the mother's parents is happening at the end of the month. The only other contact that was made was approximately 5 years ago, when I got an email with an updated email address for the mother. No other details were provided. One final fast forward to Sunday of last week. I receive a notification that the child's mother would like to connect with me via LinkedIn. It is of note that neither of us keep any real social media presence, as neither of us really see a point to it. Accept the invitation and get a message via LinkedIn. Hi, OP. I apologize for seeking you out through your business, but this was the only way I could find to contact you. This must be a bit of a surprise to hear from me out of the blue. I hope you're well. Child's name here is 16 years old. He has been asking questions about his birth father and genetics. I think he would like to meet you. If perhaps you might also be interested, please contact me at a phone number or email. I only joined LinkedIn to be able to reach you. If you have concerns or would not like to meet, I would still appreciate a short reply just so I know you received this message. Again, I hope this finds you well. What a polite
I feel like that was
email.
pretty good.
Truly.
Pretty good.
Like, very considerate. I like.
I like.
But does OP like?
OP says, I am completely shook.
Uh-oh.
I'm shooketh.
I'm shook. I have ebbed and flowed on a desire to reach out for years, but have not done so as I have not wanted to overstep and deeply value a two-parent household, not a two-parent household plus another parent.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of plus,
This was from the story guys. They wanted a blank and blank household, huh? Anyone know what that is? Huh?
stop and horse household?
Nope. Safe and stable.
Ah, okay.
Safe as in like you got people like helping them cross the street.
Yeah, and stable as in horse. With or
guys
without
get
a
it.
spouse
You
on the
guys get
side.
it.
I reach out to the mother via phone and we have a short but pleasant conversation. They're living about 45 minutes away and have been for about the last 12 years. We agree to meet for a coffee and to catch up again the following day, Monday. We talked for about 5 hours. I saw many photos, heard about the child's upbringing, his successes, his failures, some funny stories, all of the things that a parent would like to hear about their child. His successes, his failures. The mom's like, yeah, this freaking kid failed Spanish twice. Oh, and don't get me started about his driver's test.
Gets that from his
Jesus.
dad. That's from his dad's side.
At the end of the meeting, I'm asked if I would like to meet the child at a restaurant.
Not with
somewhere-
those failures. Nope.
My notion of mine will be a failure. At a restaurant somewhere close to the middle of the two of our places on Saturday. Tomorrow. But you said it was Monday.
Why is OP doing this like a screenwriter?
Truly. The interior. Outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Day.
Daytime.
Coffee shop.
16 years later. I agreed to this and am now approximately 16 hours away from this meeting. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm freaking out over here. After feeling like I had failed my first and only child, I chose to get a vasectomy as I never wanted to feel that level of guilt and failure ever again. There were many times that I felt like I was never ever going to have the opportunity to meet my child, and I have done a lot of work to make peace with that thought. How do I even approach this situation at this point? I'm over the moon excited to meet my child for the first time. However, I still have such incredible feelings of guilt and failure. I have concerns for the unknown. Will the meeting be a positive one? Am I simply going there to get shredded by a teenager with an axe to grind? Or an otherwise negative disposition towards a father that was not there for him? As mentioned above, I have never had children. I don't know how to parent. I recognize that is still very much not my role. And that doesn't change the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing, even in this meeting tomorrow. Opie's like, I know I'm just getting coffee with this kid, but I don't know what to do. I have no idea what I'm doing, even in this meeting tomorrow. Any thoughts and opinions are very welcome. And OP's got an edit to, it's now 2:45 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm just about to walk in. I have read a lot of the comments and thank all of you for the words of encouragement and advice. My stomach is in knots and I'm still in a relative state of panic and stress. Regardless, here we go! I will post again likely tomorrow with how everything goes. This has received so much love than I anticipated. Again, thank you all, and we've got an update 2 days later.
Very nice Mario impression there.
Thanks. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that he's going to meet him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I think just
think
be
he wants
yourself
to.
and just be like, hey, circumstances, you know.
What's up?
Hey, you know, life, right?
Time
Yeah.
flies, huh, kid?
I think you walk in, you say, hey, girly.
Son.
What's up? I got a vasectomy because I thought I could never parent again. I think you go in with that level of honesty. No, I'm joking. Don't do that.
I
Be yourself.
say go in and be like, yo, 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 what up, my brother?
I think you give him a switch.
Should be like, start just saying Gen Z.
Yeah, you
lingo,
go.
like, that's
go
no,
ahead.
that's so cap.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see what he says.
Are you 16, 17 years old?
Ooh. For the first time in the better part of a week, I managed to sleep well and took advantage of that to catch up on some rest. I apologize for the tardiness of this update. Regardless, here we go. We met at 3 p.m. Eastern yesterday.
What is this?
Yesterday.
Hmm.
Interior, sit-down chain restaurant. When I walked in at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was standing at the front, waiting to speak with the hostess when I saw my ex walking up to me.
Anxious.
Anxious. We spoke briefly and I was informed that my son was sitting at a table close. I was beyond nervous. We walked over to the table together. It was oriented thus that his back was towards the door. I let his mother lead and she said in her typical calm and gentle voice, "Child, this is OP." We exchanged smiles and I sat down across from him. As expected, the tension and nerves were palpable. All parties involved were very much wired for sound. We exchanged pleasantries, similar to what anyone would do when meeting someone new for the first time. "Pleasure to meet you. I've heard many good things about you. How have you been?" The "how have you been" question sparked a response that I was not necessarily expecting.
Oh, was the kid like, I don't know, Dad?
I don't know,
16
Dad.
years has gone pretty, A-okay without you.
But probably should have, given that this gentleman across from me shares my DNA.
Gentleman
Who
across
talks
the
like
Wh-
this?
who are you?
What?
Who are you?
Did you use a time machine?
I think so.
I don't know, but he's on Eastern Standard Time. That's all I know.
And therefore I should have known he would also carry my dry, sarcastic sense of humor. This is the son. Like recently, over the past 16 years. He's got you there.
Yeah, I called it. Called it.
And I'd
Was
be
the
like,
response.
listen, you burned me so bad, I have to leave now.
Yeah, you go, ooh-wee!
You're like, wait, waitress, ice for
Check,
me,
please.
Check, please. Kristen says it means nervous. On TikTok.
Means
Says
what?
that saying that we were like, what does that mean? It means nervous.
Means nervous.
Oh, nervous.
Got it. All I could really do was smile broadly and answer with whichever you would like to share, or both if that works for you. We shared a meal, spoke for about 2.5 hours at the restaurant, took some first steps to catch up. I learned about his love of books, movies, and music, his deeply rooted love of video games, mythology, and folklore. He assuredly had questions about me and my life over the past 16 years, but he was exceptionally kind and gentle in his questioning. I never felt like his intent was to attack, only to probe and to quell his curiosity about where he came from. Near the end of the meal, there was a pause in conversation, and I felt it appropriate to very simply and frankly say, "Thank you for reaching out," which was met with a very genuine smile and, of course, as a response. We collectively decided to leave the restaurant and walk around a shopping center that was close by. See also in the same parking lot. Exterior parking lot. Same day. Eastern Standard Time. We walked and talked for another hour. Very casual conversation, like that of a couple of old friends catching up after an extended absence in each other's lives. The sense of calm and relief that progressively washed over me as we had this conversation was unbelievable. As the meeting came to a conclusion, both my ex and I reinforced that it is greatly the decision of my son if he would like to continue to foster a relationship, and that both of us would support, respect, and honor whatever decision that was made. After a moment of reflection, I think that I would really like that was uttered. It is not lost on me that there is a lot of work to be done and that it is going to take a long time to do all that work. I'm ready for it. I'm honestly willing to do what I need to in order to make this right. I know that he has a lot to unpack. My ex has a lot to unpack, and I have a lot to unpack from this past week. I'm simply happy and content with the thought that things are moving in a healthy direction. By the way, you guys can move in a healthy direction by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime, and we'll be there waiting for you.
Eastern Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time, Mountain.
Any standard time.
Any time.
Any standard time.
But there's a teeny weeny little bit left. What did you draw? What are your final thoughts also?
Here's my Mario.
Wow. Yeah.
Look at him. He's scary. I also drew this plate.
Nice, because they had food together.
Well, because you said something about healthy.
It's
and
true.
I was gonna draw a salad, but then I didn't have time.
And what are your final thoughts?
My thought is good. I'm glad that you went on this. The meeting went well, and now you're gonna, it's never too late to like be in someone's life.
Agreed.
Especially if like it's not that you left on like bad terms or whatnot, or like
No.
whatever. Like he knows nothing about you, and he's just curious. He's like, this is.
Just want to know
This
who
is,
you are.
I'm curious. I want to know, and make my own decisions. I'm 16 now. Have my own thoughts about it,
He's
and
got his own brain.
yeah, draw your own opinions.
We took a picture together before we left. I have it on my phone right now. Oh. I'm not about to post it for anonymity purposes of my child, but one thing that really stands out to me in the picture is that we have the same dang smile. Haha.
Aw.
The world works in such strange ways, but I am a firm believer that things will unfold as they are intended to. And this is another step in my walk of life. Come what may, I am here to accept it and work my butt off to cross any hurdle that may show. Thank you all again. And we've got an update 2 years later.
Oh,
Let's get into it. Oh boy. OP seeing a band
Oh.
for the second time live in
Wow.
Calgary. First concert with my son. Stoked is an understatement. I was freaking right.
You got it.
So Sophia's wow, she read ahead.
And that's the end of the story. I asked my husband if he'd date me in a wheelchair. His answer shocked me.
Would he also date you when he's in a wheelchair? I don't know. What did he say?
My husband, James, 37 male, and I, 39 female, have a son, Lucas, 13 male, who is a freshman in high school. After the Christmas break, a new girl, Yuki, 14 female, was in his class. I've heard Lucas and his friends talk about how Yuki is the prettiest girl in school. By their talk, I didn't know she was in a wheelchair. Just that she's from another country is super cool and super pretty. And this comes from Dry Dirt 1426. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. After Lucas mentioned he started dating Yuki, I found out she was in a wheelchair when I picked up my son from school. Lucas told his dad and showed what Yuki looked like by showing him her Facebook. My husband seemed okay okay with it. But later, with just me, my husband James expressed concern about our son dating a girl in a wheelchair, talking about how our son doesn't know what he's getting himself into and blah, blah, blah. I called my husband silly, and he got mad at me. Am I the a-hole? And we've got an update 2 days later. What do you think?
That's very weird. I mean,
Yeah.
jumping to she's in a wheelchair and you don't know what you're getting into. Very weird thing to get into. When I mean, like, I feel like because he's 13,
The point that I was thinking
I was
of,
gonna be like, okay, maybe you don't know what you're getting into because like you're young and
Yeah.
like the birds and the bees and like all
yeah.
that.
Well, I think
stuff.
he's just like, oh, it's going to be harder for them, blah, 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 because she's in a wheelchair. It's like, one, that's not even an issue right now.
Let's not be ableist.
Yeah, they're 13, so let's calm down. And also, you're being ableist. It's like, what are the hardships? Because it doesn't seem like you actually know what they are.
I don't know. Your son looks pretty happy. You want to ruin that?
Update 2 days later. There's something I, 39 female, should have brought up in the first post. But in my defense, the people who told me about this only mentioned it to me once. And my husband, James, 37 male, didn't even bring up while explaining to me his concern about our son, Lucas, 13 male, dating a girl, Yuki, 14 female, who's in a wheelchair. My husband's younger brother met his wife in high school. According to them, they told each other they loved each other in less than a month after meeting. Even though the majority said I am not the a-hole, I did agree with those who said I was dismissive of my husband. So yesterday, I wanted to really hear him out. That's when he reminded me the situation about his brother and sister-in-law. So he's like, well, they could get married. It's happened. People get married from with the people that they meet in high school.
Let's set things straight here. What's going on?
Yeah. What is going on with our son reminded him of what happened with his brother. I got new information about our son that when I wasn't in the room, Lucas told my husband that he's in love with Yuki.
This is probably his first girlfriend,
Yeah.
and this is probably like really cute. But yeah, you want to be like, hey, let's have an actual adult talk. Maybe he was freaking out, not in that manner. I don't know.
My husband repeated that our son doesn't know what he's getting himself into. He made more points, saying that our son barely acknowledged that Yuki used a wheelchair, meant that our son has an immature and unprepared attitude towards Yuki. I let my husband finish. He mentioned how our son is an athlete and Yuki has different interests like video games and cartoons. My husband said he's worried that our son will morph himself into someone else to impress Yuki. 2 of my questions really stumped my husband. First, when I asked him if we could name anyone else he knows personally, our generation or younger, who married someone they started dating in high school. He couldn't think of anyone either than his brother. Then the question of when he and I met in college, if he would have chased me if I was in a wheelchair. He said he probably would have and said he got my point. I talked to Lucas separately. He was surprisingly excited to share with me his feelings about Yuki. He told me that he's in love with her, about how she's the coolest, most interesting, and prettiest girl he's ever met. He talked about wanting to do something for her for Valentine's Day, but he doesn't know what yet. He mentioned that even though Yuki is fluent in English, he's watching videos to learn basic phrases in her native language.
Shout out to your son.
Yeah, your son is cool as heck.
Which means shout out to you guys for parenting your son
Yeah.
the right way.
Like, your husband is so worried about your son dating a, person in a wheelchair and him being immature for it, when clearly this kid is, I think, very mature and very respectful, which is awesome.
Crazy what this generation does.
How he's listening to love songs in our native language, how he's learning all about our native country. I only gave him 2 pieces of advice. To avoid promising Yuki anything major, to avoid ending up disappointing her, and that really, really big grand gestures can make a girl feel overwhelmed. Right now, I'm not too concerned about my son's relationship with Yuki. Back when I was in high school, I had a male best friend who managed to be in love with 5 different girls in just 4 years of high school. As for my husband, I think he's coming around after our conversation last night, so things seem okay to me. And I would be okay if you listened to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
No, this is good. I feel
Yeah.
like now you do the next big thing and be like, when are we going to meet Yuki?
Yes. I think the only thing that I would say, not to say that I'm at all on, husband's original side, but I think it is important to have a conversation with your son and say, hey, I'm sure you've noticed Yuki is in a wheelchair. And so there are things that she's not going to be able to do that you can do, like sports, or we have to be careful about if you ever wanted to take her on a date, you'd have to make sure that there's accessible, or it's accessible for her.
And he's like, Mom, I already know that.
Yeah, which would be awesome if you're, but he's 13, so you might just be focused on the love part and not about, what she needs.
Yeah.
which I think just in general, even if he wasn't dating her, it's important to know and be respectful and be mindful of what people with different abilities and different bodies need.
And that was my friend growing up. Because we started in kindergarten, we were like, what do we do? And she genuinely, just ask.
Yeah.
Just ask me.
Exactly.
I'm not offended. I'd rather you ask than not ask. And she'll make fun of it. She'll be like,
Yeah.
guys, what am I going to do? I'm in a wheelchair. We were like, can we laugh at that? She's like, yes, you can laugh at that. I made the joke. You can do it. I mean, yes, again, don't just assume. Always ask and feel the vibe of someone like that, and they'll let you know. But usually they don't just assume.
But there's a little bit left. Right now, my son and Yuki are out together. As far as I'm aware, her parents are responsible people. So the fact that she's allowed to hang out with the boy alone after moving to a new country should tell my husband something. Yuki is in many ways just living the life of the average high school student in America. And I do appreciate that my son is taking genuine interest in her personality and background instead of just treating her like a pretty face to look at. Props to your son and props to Yuki.
100%. Shout out to your son.
Yeah.
Truly.
He seems like a really cool person.
Yeah.
But that is the end of that story, and we got another one coming right up.
Sure we do.
My husband refused to hold our newborn, but he was never like this.
Ew, get him away!
Babies, I'm allergic. My husband has yet to hold our son. He won't call him by his name. He always refers to him as the baby, and he won't do anything to help take care of him. On Tuesday, my husband moved into the camper to get, quote, quiet time, as he calls it. I've seen him for maybe 10 minutes since Tuesday. Up until our son was born, we had a great marriage. I don't know what to do. Any advice, please? And by the way, this comes from user Bloodhound Puppy. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments, as OP says. Last night, I called the fire station and talked to a firefighter about my husband's strange behavior since our son was born. With my husband's history of head trauma since he was a boxer from 12 to 28, I was concerned. Extremely relevant information.
Yeah.
They sent an ambulance. The paramedics evaluated him and told me something wasn't right. They decided to take him to the hospital. We've been there all night while my husband was getting scanned and tested. They did all kinds of tests involving memory. They used flashcards and mental quizzes and puzzles. I'm in shock as to how bad my husband's mental state is.
Wow.
It's embarrassing that I didn't notice how far he had declined. Maybe I didn't want to notice. Maybe it was a conscious decision. I doubt that.
No, I mean,
When
you
you live with
literally
somebody,
had a
yeah.
baby, too, and you were pregnant before. I mean, yeah.
You had a lot going on. I watched him struggle to name his hometown. He had lived there the first 22 years of his life, and he could not do it. Mother's name, father's name, he struggled with answering the most basic questions. I had noticed in recent years that he talked about the past less and less. He rarely tells stories about his past anymore. I didn't know that it was because he basically doesn't have a past anymore. All those pictures around the house hold no real meaning for him. He doesn't remember our first kiss, when he proposed to me, or very much about our wedding. He knows these things happened, but the specifics of those events are lost to him. A psychiatrist met with him, but she wasn't very helpful. She kept asking about self-harm. My husband isn't going to do that. She asked him misleading questions like she was trying to trick him into admitting it. When I brought up how my husband hasn't bonded with our son, she waved me off and told me she had rounds. The neurologist is awesome. He really cares. My husband's boss and some coworkers came this morning. They were more honest with me today than I think they have been in a long time. My husband hasn't been a trainer in 2 years. He used to go and get trained on all the new JD technology and then train the other techs. It got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. He also has notebooks filled with notes and procedures he should know by heart. They're like his crutches so he can do his job. He rarely goes on field calls alone anymore. He usually takes someone with him. I met with a counselor that the neurology department employs to help patients' families deal with the fallout. She told me to prepare to take on more and more of the responsibilities around the house. It is a worry because my husband is the breadwinner, and I can't replace his income with my skills and education. She explained that patients with the trauma my husband has exist on routine. When something disrupts that routine, like a new baby, they often can't cope. My husband is staying for a few more days. Tomorrow he meets with a different psychiatrist and then is being transferred to a more advanced neurology center 3 hours away. With a little luck, I'll have a more definitive care plan and have him home by Wednesday or Thursday. Take care of your brain, kids. And there is a second update.
Oh, just terrifying. Especially, again, like OP's already trying to figure out how to care for a new baby.
This really is kind of a PSA of like not doing,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's what all of like the people who are like at the apex of those sports
Just
are usually like, don't do this.
my mom never let Sam do any like football, any contact sports.
Yeah.
Just because, especially when you're a kid, it's just so dangerous.
It's dangerous. Update number 2. It has been a long and difficult week. My husband went to the city to the major neurological center on Monday, and they confirmed his diagnosis of CTE. He was there until Wednesday, and then he came home. We worked with a counselor there, and my husband held his son for the first time. He had this kind of bewildered look on his face. Then he teared up and said, "This is all I ever wanted, and I can't even enjoy it."
Aww.
That broke my heart, and I had to leave the room for a while. Brain injuries are tricky. The neurologist said the best case is my husband doesn't deteriorate any more than he already is. When I asked about the worst case, they told me to be prepared to put him in assisted living. That's something you never want to hear. This whole journey is a roller coaster. We're working with a counselor through a church in the area to try and develop some coping strategies. The biblical counseling is a ministry supported by tithing, so it doesn't cost us anything. We have a standing appointment every Friday at 4. With my husband's injury, he can function well on a routine, but babies don't do routine. 5 a.m., my husband gets up, then he goes for a 6-mile run, then calisthenics, shower, shave, brush teeth, breakfast, and then he starts his day. If his routine is disrupted, he can't recover and adjust. Our dog adjusted to my husband's routine. At 5 a.m., she is ready to go for a run. Babies don't do schedules. It's hard not to get discouraged. I see my husband struggle so hard to adapt. It hurts him that he can't learn new tasks quickly. I'm patient and supportive, but he still gets frustrated. Like packing the diaper bag. He knows that we need stuff, he just can't do it without a checklist. Screw it, I'm making checklists. The nurse said it's important to try and make things as normal as possible. Watching a 35-year-old man not be able to figure out how many diapers to take on a trip to Walmart is heartbreaking. I made checklists for everything. If it's something he does all the time, he's better. It's learning new things that are hard. This might be one of the situations where like the overlay like glasses and like AI might actually be like incredibly helpful for somebody.
With the checklist and stuff.
Because you could have right in front of you, you know, just like, what am I doing? And it's like bang, 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 bang. Like, oh, okay, this and that and this and that. Got it. Like,
yeah.
And first time I've ever thought that.
Yeah.
Really.
No, I agree.
I made checklists for everything. If it's something he does all the time, he's better. It's learning new things that are hard. For the past couple of years, in hindsight, it's baffling I didn't notice. All I can say is I must have fallen into the comfortable routines with him. I didn't question anything. If I asked him to do something and he refused, I just did it myself. It never occurred to me that maybe he wants to go out to eat breakfast because making breakfast causes him anxiety he'd rather not deal with. Go ahead and nominate me for Wife of the Year, although I'll probably be runner-up to Lorena Bobbitt. The owner of the dealership took us and the service manager out to dinner on Saturday to come up with a plan for keeping my husband earning. The owner is kind of old-fashioned and is adamantly opposed to seeing a young man like my husband depend on handouts to feed his family. Thank God. They're going to assign a junior tech to work with my husband full-time. He'll be there on every job helping my husband out. The dealership also has a bunch of old equipment on the lot that they can't sell. It's mostly scrap. They're going to clear out the lot in an auction, and whatever money is made will go to us to help pay for medical bills. Dude, shout out to this business owner for taking care of y'all. The general manager is also checking with John Deere Corporate to see if they have any assistance programs a dealer tech would qualify for. I think there's a foundation or something. They're also giving my husband a 40-hour check for his last week and not docking his PTO. My husband agreed to let me take over the finances. I don't think we're behind on anything, and our credit is good, so it should be pretty easy. Paying the bills and balancing a checkbook has been a real burden on him. It explains why he stopped letting me have access to the bank account a while back. He told me to just charge everything to the credit card and he'd take care of it, another gigantic red flag that I missed. Looking back, there are so many red flags I missed. I feel like an idiot. I mean, I used to tease him about forgetting stuff. I made jokes about him being the punch-drunk old boxer. I feel awful. I feel about 2 inches tall. I can't imagine how bad I embarrassed him over the years. If I live to be 2,000 years old, I'll never be able to make it up to him. Well, you didn't do anything
do it.
wrong. A lot of people don't understand, like, the nature of these kind of
Yeah.
injuries. And a lot of people think, like, oh, well, if you have, like, a brain injury or you have CTE or you have, you know, it's like you'd notice immediately because it's like you wouldn't be able to
Hindsight
do
is-
anything.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way it
Yeah.
usually goes. Whoopi continues, the baby is doing great, and we're taking things one day at a time. Now that I'm not so oblivious, it's getting easier to take care of my husband and baby. My parents left on Sunday, and his dad flies home tomorrow, and then it's just us again. It was great having help for a little while. It's too bad we live in such a rural area. The neurology center in the city has outpatient programs that would help. It's 6 hours round trip. It's just too much to make the trip 3 times a week. We're kind of stuck where we're at.
Which that's hard because it's like, yeah, maybe you should move, but then that also disrupts routine.
Yeah, no, yes.
Yeah.
But a routine that you should do is listening to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to more stories just like this. You have any final
No.
thoughts here?
I mean, OP, be easy with yourself. Be
Yeah.
gentle. This is already a hard task to raise a child and take care of your husband. And you're literally doing everything that you possibly could be doing. So be gentle with yourself.
Mm-hmm. We're going to keep a monthly appointment at the neurology center for monitoring. It's the best we can do. It's not like TV where people can effortlessly uproot their lives and do its best. In the real world, you sometimes have to take the worst option. We meet with a lawyer from our church on Wednesday to set up some documentation so I can handle the finances and make medical decisions. I think it's called a power of attorney. He's going to get us all set up for the price of one of my homemade apple pies.
Wow.
Man, shout out to community.
Wow. Like, truly, such a heartwarming element of the story is just the community around you guys.
Yeah. Thank you all for your support, and that is the end of that
Wow.
story.
I mean, like, really devastating, but also just, like, very beautiful example of partnership and community and resilience.
Absolutely. I taught my boyfriend's son how to cook, and it made his mother furious.
I don't want him to be able to do things on his own.
I, female 27, just made this account to ask a question before my boyfriend comes home and we talk. My boyfriend, male 35, and his ex-wife, female 37, share a son named Tristan. Tristan, male 8, comes to our place every other week. I recently moved in with my boyfriend after 2 years of dating. And by the way, this comes from user sadactive8131. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. I asked Tristan what his favorite meal is. He said butter chicken. So I made sure to cook it on the night he comes to our place. Today he was home because of a PD day, and I had the day off to be with him. I told him, do you want to make it together? I'll supervise and tell you what to do. It'll be fun. We prepared rice and butter chicken together. He was so proud of himself. He asked me to take a picture and send it to his mom and dad while he held the plate all ready. I did, and I wrote, Chef Tristan made his first butter chicken today. His mom lost it. And messaged that I robbed her of his first cooking experience and that I'm just a girlfriend trying to play family.
Time out. He's
Okay.
8 and you haven't cooked him with him or anything?
Not a single thing?
Okay, so it seems like the issue is not like he's a boy, he shouldn't cook. It's just that she is feeling very maternal.
She says, well,
And so-
I was going to do that.
Yeah. Which, you know, is a totally not okay reaction. However, if we're giving her a little bit of like, you know, benefit of the doubt, it seems like she's, you know, watching her son grow up and feeling very emotional about losing some of those firsts with him. Still not ever okay to react like that to OP though. But, you know, hopefully she'll calm down. You can say, hey, I didn't know I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should try to tell her to calm down.
I was about to say that.
Don't do
Dang,
that.
bro.
Classic move. I said I didn't mean it that way and that I thought it was just a fun activity and I apologized. My boyfriend messaged saying I should have talked to his mom first, especially since it involved being close to the oven or cutting. I told him I did the cutting and I truly didn't mean to insult his mom. Now, Tristan has finished his meal and I'm waiting for his dad to come home. I just want to know if I crossed any boundaries and if I owe him and his ex-wife an apology. Did I cross the line? And there is an edit. No, it is not a cultural meal for any of us. He just really likes this meal. It wasn't my boyfriend's affair partner. Tristan's mom broke up with my boyfriend when Tristan was 1 when she met her coworker. Tristan has a half-sister from his mom's side. She is still with this guy. And there's an update. I talked to him. Well, apparently I crossed the line because it was his favorite meal. It was supposed to be his mom's job to teach him, not me, as I was told. My boyfriend asked if I could first check with Tristan's mom in the future before doing anything. I told him there won't be a next time because I refuse to do anything one-on-one with him. He thinks I'm overreacting and I should just let it go. What do I know? I'm just some girl playing family. And also, you can't let it go because the premise is that you'd have to ask every time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, you can just get over it. It's like, no. Now this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to get over something that is still there?
And
still an ongoing problem.
Why'd your boyfriend not back you up?
Yeah. Like I don't know. He could have said like, oh yeah, I told her that it was fine. Or I don't know.
I am so annoyed by him being such a wuss. And there are some more comments here. Number 1, if Tristan's parents want to criticize you for taking a day off to watch their son for them and actually make that day fun, they owe you an apology. They also need to stay home with him if every first is so critically important. They either have you watching him and choosing things to do, or they do it themselves.
Yeah, to get mad at you for taking time off to watch him is pretty crazy. Like, this isn't your son.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this. You're doing them a favor.
When he has professional development days and with us, my boyfriend and I take turns to watch him. Comment 2 says, were you taking care of him while the mom and dad were at work? If so, I would stop babysitting immediately and make that clear after this response. OP says, it's his week with us until Sunday. His mom is a stay-at-home mom. Commenter 3, I don't have kids, so maybe I'm missing something, but is cooking their first meal with some assistance that big of a deal that a grown woman needs to throw a tantrum? Some things I can understand feeling, like no, step-parent should not take that opportunity from the actual parent, but cooking. Some things, by the way, his mother could have done with him 1,000,000 times over, but never actually did. I will say, though, that the real issue here is your partner not taking your side. At the very least, he should have calmed her down and had a conversation with her about it, and also about how she spoke to you. Either way, if I were you, I'd cut contact with her for now and let your partner do the communicating until things settle. OP says, I don't have any kids, so this was new to me.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think he should have been handling that. Yeah. Because that was however she felt, it was a completely inappropriate response.
Yeah.
So.
Comment 4, you didn't mean any harm. It was sweet, but involving Tristan in something his mom sees as a first crossed a boundary. A quick apology and telling her it was just for fun should fix it. Next time, check with both parents first. Well, apparently I crossed the line because it was his favorite meal. It was supposed to be his mom's job to teach him, not me, as I was told. My boyfriend asked if I could first check with Tristan's mom in the future before doing anything. I told him there won't be a next time because I refuse to do anything one-on-one with him. He thinks I'm overreacting and I should just let it go. What do I know? I'm just some girl playing house. I'm annoyed by him being a wuss. Was there any other option but you staying home? Just wanting to check that you're not being treated as a babysitter. Being a step-parent is hard. You facilitated an activity to support your rapport between you and your stepchild, and it sounds like he had a great time and made something he was proud of. Parents are in the wrong, and how dare dad turn it around on you?
Also, just like sucks as the kid to do this thing and seemingly not really receive any encouragement or any, support from his parents, because he might not ever want to cook again if this is how his parents react. His mom might never have that chance to cook with him again if the first time he makes something, she's like, I want it. I hope she didn't do that in front of him.
I just want a list of all the other things. All the other things you haven't done with your 8-year-old son.
I'm gonna say zoo.
Like, what were you waiting for?
Yeah.
What exactly were you waiting for this whole time?
Oh, to complain. For
Yeah.
someone else to do it so I can complain.
Yep, I guess
that's
so.
right. Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Well, we have an update, folks. I called him on my lunch break and told him I had thought about everything and that both he and his ex-wife owe me an apology. I explained that I was bonding with Tristan and made a meal with him after taking care of him all day. She got mad and insulted me and then took her side. Then he had the audacity to come to bed and ask for some spicy time. And by the way, it's always a crazy time when you come listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform, like iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime and you get all the craziness you ever want. He said I was being ridiculous and immature. I told him that if I didn't hear a real apology, I wasn't coming home and we were done. He said, fine, whatever, sorry. And I said, that didn't sound sincere at all, and asked whether he was going to ask his ex to apologize to me. And he said, are you insane? No, out of the question. I asked him if he honestly wouldn't even try to stand up for me. He said I was being unrealistic and that it wasn't like that. So I told him we were done.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't even trying. Right now, I'm at my best friend's house eating sushi takeout and watching Gilmore Girls reruns. LOL.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm more mad than sad. I'm not at the eating ice cream and crying stage yet. And I guess that's it. We're done. He's been texting saying we need to talk, but I have nothing to talk about. We're done. My best friend and I will start looking at rental places online for me after dinner. Thank you for all your feedback.
All right.
And that is the end of that story.
And that's
yeah.
what we like to see.
Yes, I am happy that you are breaking up.
Expediency.
And see how now he goes, well, we need to talk. It's like, oh, no.
No.
See, we already did that.
I asked you, and you said, whatever, I'm sorry.
I've been engaged to my boyfriend for 6 years, but now I'm feeling detached.
Oh, no ring means no bond.
My partner, 31 male, and I, 30 female, are newly engaged after almost 6 years together. The journey to getting engaged was not an easy one. We argued a ton, mainly around mismatched timelines, lack of or spotty discussion around engagement, me not feeling wanted, etc. Even so, we're here, engaged, not living together, and I don't think we're ready for what comes with a marriage. By the way, this comes from user Taurus Pisces Cancer. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie. I'm Sophia.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. This past August, we got engaged, and although it was nice, it didn't feel super special. I had made a joke saying I wouldn't care if he came to my place and did it, and, well, that's literally what he did. Fast forward to now. We are engaged, not living together, and not at all planning for a wedding. He still lives at home with his mom and splits financial costs with her there. In addition, he's been struggling with career stability based on his field for pretty much our entire relationship. In the same time we've spent together, I've been able to move back home to New York from Maryland, get my own place, and finally get into my career. Granted, we grew up with very different backgrounds and resources, and the pandemic impacted us in different ways, but it feels like he's still stuck while I have been able to progress well in the last few years. We are now considering moving him into my place because we have to live together before getting married, but I have been having a ton of concerns and anxiety around that, especially him coming straight from his mom's home. We had a conversation around splitting costs when he gets here last week, and even that wasn't easy because of his lack of financial stability. At this point, part of me feels like we probably shouldn't have gotten engaged, but we did it to save the relationship, and now I'm wondering if it was even the right choice. So what makes this all challenging is he's a very sweet guy. He gets along well with all my friends and family, and he's very emotionally mature. He's been in therapy since he was 24. His work ethic is good, but he keeps getting the short end of the stick when it comes to life. He grew up with a lot of childhood trauma as well, but he's been able to make something out of himself through it all. And while I love him, I know that love isn't enough to make a marriage. Has our relationship run its course? Why am I feeling so detached? And there are some comments here. I would say it's because you have values. One of your values would be financial stability. He doesn't have that. He has a lot of other things that you might value, but that seems like a big one, and he does not have it.
Yeah.
And you also haven't lived with him.
Yeah, I feel like this is, like, he might be emotionally mature, he might be, you know, someone that's worth loving, but yeah, I feel like we need to be practical here, and, like, you can still date, just maybe, like, calm down.
Yes.
Like, maybe we just don't get married yet.
We might not be ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're just, maybe that can be in the future, but we rushed into it too soon.
Yeah.
This is not the way to do it.
You can just stay engaged,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Stay engaged, live together, and
Yeah.
if that's an absolute nightmare, then I guess stop. But if you're already saying stuff like, has it run its course?
Yeah.
Comment I always say if it's not an F yes, then it's a no. Do some introspection and be true to yourself. It's your life partner we're talking about. A very important decision. OP says, my gut, head, and heart are all saying different things. I'm confused, hurt, and frustrated. Comment, if you don't know if you want to get married after 6 years together as full-grown adults, then the answer is that you don't. I don't mean this kindly, but it sounds so childish that you are engaged. Engaged means engaged to be married. What was your shared thought process there? If you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone, it has to be the person you just can't imagine not waking up next to forever. Not the person you stayed in a relationship with out of habit. And not someone you aren't feeling excited about building a life with. It's been 6 years. Time to face up to reality, I think. Opie says you are absolutely right, and I keep questioning why we actually went through with getting engaged. I think we did it to keep the relationship from ending, when in reality, it's really underscoring how unprepared we are for this. I would love to build a life with him, but I don't think he's quite ready for it, given his continued financial hardship. And a comment replies, okay, now you have to work together as a team to resolve this. Not me versus him. You are not working together as a team. I'll probably get downvoted, but this is what it feels like to me. What do you think marriage is? Vows are until the death do us part. And in sickness and in health. Will you abandon him if he gets ill or loses his job? You will always have resentment towards him at your current level of thinking. I mean, you're already trying to justify the idea of breaking up with him. Set him free. Dump him so he can find someone better for himself.
Okay,
I mean,
that
yeah,
was a
okay,
harsh
sure.
ending.
Dump him so you can find someone better for
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Maybe.
Just
If
so
you
we
guys
could-
got engaged to salvage your relationship, it's over.
Yeah, that's like the complete opposite of what needs to happen. That just truly doesn't make any sort of sense at all. Like, were you thinking that you could just fake it? You're like, oh, well, if we get engaged, that'll be something to do.
Yeah.
Something to like talk about. Like, we gotta plan a wedding. Cool. We got a shared activity.
OP says, we have worked together on his career stability as a team. I was the one that even looked into getting a consultation for his portfolio. He's a graphic designer. And I offered to help pay for part of it. I send him jobs to apply for and try to find connections within my network to send over to him, etc. I've tried helping him move out of his mom's house as well over the years. I've gone to look at places with him and connect him with brokers and help him increase his credit score so he can qualify for housing, etc. And I am now offering for him to move to my place so we can start the process of living together. It's crazy for you to assume I haven't been helping him all this time. Comment, if you don't know how you feel, you shouldn't be engaged. You shouldn't be living together. Get into some couples therapy and start talking about things. Have deep conversations about the hard things. Make plans and see if both of you work to action them. If nothing changes, then you know. Relationships take work, and to be honest, it sounds like the work isn't being done on one or both sides. OP says, so the thing is, we're in couples therapy now and have been for the past year. Boom, roasted. Most of the difficult conversations are also initiated by me, so I don't know how much it's helped us overcome some of these deficiencies. We have an update from 2 days later. I think I smell a little bit of trouble. I don't know if this is going to work out.
Yeah. I had no hope from the beginning. You've been in couples therapy, and it's been a rough ride up until you got engaged. You have multiple fights. What are you guys fighting about? Because you might love him. You might. But, like, that also happens when you've been with someone for 6 years. Like, you would definitely, if you were hanging out with someone, like if you went to school with someone for 6 years, you could love them. But like, even if that's like platonic or something, it's like, well, yeah, I gotta. I've been with them for so long. I know them so well. But like, listen to your gut and your head when they tell you that this is a bad idea, because that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, honestly, you're like, oh, my gut and my head and my heart are telling me different things. It's like, it sounds like they're all telling you like a version of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I, 30 female, was in a almost 6-year relationship with a man, 31 male, that wasn't logistically ready to put his life with mine. He's still living at home with his mom, getting his career in check, and through all this time, I stayed with him in the hopes that he would get his life together so we could start ours. After 5 years with essentially no change, we had the genius idea of getting engaged, with the hopes that things would just click into place. The only thing that clicked to me is that we aren't ready for marriage. No, we don't live together, and we never got the chance to. I wanted him to leave his family home before moving in with me, and he never got around to it. In addition, his lack of taking initiative and troubles with autonomy and decision-making were a big part of why these things never happened. On top of the fact that his finances aren't where they need to be. With the recent passing of my grandmother, on top of having to tell the love of my life that we can't be together, you can only imagine how badly my heart is breaking. I never wanted it to end this way, but I also couldn't picture us being happy with the way things were. Add resentment around timelines and dissatisfaction with intimacy, spicy sleep, etc. into the mix, and it was bound to happen. And by the
Dang.
way, there are bound to be more full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, search OK Storytime, and you can listen and listen and listen some more, and maybe learn a thing or two. While I also take blame for allowing the relationship to drag on this long, I learned that having the difficult and important conversation earlier is what sets couples up for success, especially when marriage comes into the picture as well. Seek counseling if you guys feel necessary, and be fully transparent with one another early on. We tried our best to do those things, but our efforts were not enough to really build anything. Lastly, love is not enough to make a marriage last. Communication, respect, compromise, and commitment, in addition to love and companionship, do. Out of the 6 listed here, I can say we only successfully achieved 3 after almost 6 years. My heart is heavy, but I know this is what's best for both of us. And that is the end of that story.
Exactly.
And the lesson is, sometimes you gotta make heavy heart decisions.
Yep. And you
And it
did.
sucks.
And I'm proud of you for doing it, because that's freaking hard.
But it definitely is better than getting married.
Yeah.
That would have been much worse. And
Yeah.
then guess what? It still would have been the same situation, and it still would have sucked. And your heart would
Totally.
still be hurting.
Totally. I mean, if you are feeling this way after only 6 years, how long are you planning to live? Because that's a long time to be with this person that you're unhappy with.
Yeah.
Long time.
It's a long, long time.
Long time. But we have a bit more time left to read some more stories.
We do, and there's another one coming behind this one
And we sure
on a different
will.
episode.
My ex's parents made him abandon us. Now they're mad I pushed them away.
What do you want from me?
My ex-boyfriend and I met and dated for a short time before we found out that I was pregnant. We were extremely happy together, but things started to fall apart whenever he told his parents that I was pregnant. By the way, this comes from Jade Stone, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah,
I'm Carly.
and we are here to give some good advice, goofily. But we do not have all of the little answers in our brains. We can only tell you what we would do in this situation, but we would love to know what your big brains would do in the comments. As Opie says, his parents are Colombian and Puerto Rican and are very religious/old school when it comes to things like this. They are older parents, 67 and 65, so I completely understand not approving due to the fact that we were not together long and that we are not married. My issue is that his dad has 4 other children outside of marriage that he has absolutely nothing to do with and abandoned. He then married my ex-boyfriend's mother, and they've been together ever since. She is very aware of his situation, but they both ignore the fact that he does have 4 other children with 4 different women and only focuses on their only child together, my ex-boyfriend. Whoa.
Whoa.
That- I mean, so you're just picking and choosing what kids you want and what kids you don't? Like, that's crazy. To be like, oh, I like this one, but I don't like those other 4. Nah, with all those 4 different women. Like, what? I have no hate towards any of them and actually got along with his mother when we were together. After he broke the news that I was pregnant, he started to become more distant towards me and finding ways to get out of appointments. I brought it up multiple times because it bugged me, and he would always avoid the topic. Eventually, he told me after he spoke to his parents that they've been really getting into his head about how irresponsible we have been and started to convince him that the kid was not even his. Nope, that's projecting.
It's also easily proven.
Yep.
Once just, I'll show you that it's his, that's yours.
Yep, I will get a DNA test right now. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's projection in its
Yeah.
finest. The fact that he even started to question really hurt me because I've been extremely loyal during our entire relationship and we spent all of our time together, but understood because it was not an ideal situation. He kept becoming more distant and I was getting tired of begging him to be a part of it. My dad was in and out of my life and I refused to put my son through the exact same thing. You're either going to be there 100% or not at all. I agree. I think it's hard to have like a, sometimes relationship with people, with anyone, whether it's
Yeah.
like a parent or, like a cousin or, sibling, whatever. Like humans need stability. They crave it. And so to not have this stability in your life creates chaos and overthinking and anxiousness, anxiety, frustration. Like, it's just going to make things worse. So definitely put yourself first. And I think that, OP, you're coming up with good boundaries here.
Yeah.
Eventually, I ended up giving him an option of not being a part of it since he did not seem like he wanted to whatsoever. I told him that he wouldn't have to pay child support, but that would also mean that he's not signing the birth certificate, and he took the deal. Wow. So his parents really got in his head, and that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
But hey, he won't be on the birth certificate. He's not your problem.
I was extremely hurt, but I had a baby to focus on and needed to focus on my pregnancy instead of baby daddy drama. Agreed. A couple of months later, he reached out saying that he regretted his decision and that he thought about it every single day since we last saw each other. I explained that what I was feeling and told him once again that if he's not all in, then to not even bother wasting our time. We were texting on and off for a couple of months until we decided to meet. At dinner, we caught up about how the past couple of months have gone. We then started talking about the whole situation and how his parents were heavily influencing him to get out of the pregnancy. I told him that he was a grown man, and the fact that he let his parents influence him so heavily on the situation and somewhat blames them on his actions is disgusting and immature. He said that it wasn't an excuse and explained that his family is all he's ever had, that it put a strain on their relationship and they threatened to never speak to him again if he did go through with being a part of our son's life. See, that's now it's like they're threatening him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
let the man make his decisions.
yeah, like he didn't let him live
He's
his
an adult.
life. Eventually, like he'll know what he got himself into or what he
Yeah.
didn't get himself into. But
You can guide them, but you can't make them do stuff.
exactly. And then forcing him to do that is now putting, strain on OP and then strain on him and then strain on the baby. Like that's just, it's not your life to tamper with.
Yeah.
He told me that his mom did not agree with his dad's advice whatsoever and that he needs to be accountable for his actions. But at the end of the day, his dad is head of the household and not only needs to be respected, but also listened to. I think he is harmful, but don't have any proof. Oh, see, there's a lot more to this story.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, no, I'm done. I don't want to be a dad. It was he was getting threatened. He maybe was getting,
Yeah.
like there were other
they made
things
they made him make the choice.
yeah. So
Stinks.
I get it. I ultimately feel bad for his mother because this is her only son and would be her first grandson. His dad, I have no empathy for and couldn't care less about what happens to him. Whoa. What makes me mad is the fact that his dad has done this 4 other times before meeting my ex-boyfriend's mom and is treating my ex-boyfriend like a criminal or like he unalived somebody, which is extremely hypocritical. They're not on speaking terms because he knows that they're trying to work things out and has stated multiple times that he wants absolutely nothing to do with this kid, which I was perfectly okay with. It has now become an issue because they know that I don't want them a part of my son's life due to the fact that, 1, I don't want my son to think it's okay to not be responsible for his actions like his father's dad has shown time and time again. 2, I don't want my son thinking that he can treat a woman the way his father's dad treats his wife. 3, I don't know how they would treat him knowing the way they feel about the situation, and I don't want to find out. 4, I ultimately don't want that type of influence around our son. Which, OP, those are all very, very reasonable concerns. Like,
Yeah, fully.
knowing their past and knowing who they are and what they have done to your ex now, like...
Would
Those
you
are-
want that around your son? Like
exactly.
Yeah, they'll do
Yeah.
the same thing to your kid.
My ex and I are on very good terms. He
That's
is
good.
completely understanding and agrees as to why I don't want his parents a part of our son's life. But after his parents figured this out, they act highly offended and are now bad-mouthing me, saying that I'm taking their son away from them. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to do what's best for our son, and he feels the same way.
Yeah. Boo-hoo, let him whine, do what's best for you and your son and your ex.
Yeah. We've had multiple conversations about this because I don't want him to feel like he has to neglect his family to be a part of the family that we've created to the point where I sound like a broken record. I also know that this can take a very emotional toll on him, so I try and talk to him about it frequently to make sure that he is okay and that there is not built up resentment in the future. Part of me feels bad because I know this puts him in a rough spot and I don't want that for him.
But another part of me is furious that they're behaving this way when they very clearly stated they wanted nothing to do with our child. So, am I the a-hole for not allowing my ex's boyfriend's parents to be a part of our son's life? And there are some comments. I don't think you are
I
the
don't
a-hole.
think so.
I don't think so at all.
You and your ex are the parents,
They-
not them.
They literally told your ex-boyfriend to leave because you got pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of example is that? And now they're, selfishly saying, wait, but I want to be a part of that child's life. No.
Woohoo, so sad.
Weird, because like months ago you didn't.
Yeah.
But now that, your son is choosing to stay, you're like, well, I guess we'll make the best of it. Well, it's too late for that because you've already ruined this relationship. Like, screw you guys. Sorry, but not sorry. There are some comments. Comment number 1, not the a-hole, but I don't think your boyfriend is going to stick around for the long haul like you want. He's going to want to reconcile with his parents, and it will not bode well for your relationship or his relationship with your child. I also was kind of thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
OP responds, that could very well be the case, but I'd rather have my son know in the future that it was his father's choice not to be a part of his life instead of him thinking that I didn't let his father be a part of his life. Yeah, I agree. I think that gives him a choice. Another reply, even more crucial will be the extreme likelihood that your ex will take your child to see his parents behind your back. This is almost guaranteed. Right now, at least it sounds like you're still pregnant, you're in a place where reality hasn't hit yet. He can make all the promises in the world, but once the baby arrives, the pressure campaign and manipulations will become a tsunami against you because you and your son will be their target. That's also completely true. Yeah. I'm going to make a guess that the 4 children born before your ex were girls because in the masculine world, girls don't matter. But I, 62 female, would have never married a man who would so frivolously throw away his own flesh and blood, let alone not support them financially. If I had found this out about a potential future father-in-law, girl, please. You've already found out how your ex views his patriarch. Do you really think anything has changed? That over the next 18 years, your ex isn't going to succumb to his heritage, his family's pressure, and continuously let you and your son down? But most importantly, these horrible people will be a constant migraine in your lives, so you should get child support from your son's father, period. Even if you don't need it, you can put it in an account for emergencies or your son's future. It's owed to him. Greatest of luck to you and your baby. And there is an update.
Wow.
That was well said.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if he wants to stay around, let him, but like you need to hold strong to those boundaries that you don't want your guys' baby to be around his parents like that.
Yeah. And it seems like the only viable solution here is that you either both cut them off or you're both okay with being a part of their lives.
I think, like, even cautiously, if he decides at some point to go back to his parents, you don't need to, like, cut him off immediately. Like, I could see some way of maybe him having some contact, but he needs to respect the boundaries of your guys' child.
I just feel like he seems like this has been a pattern in his life and he's easily manipulated by his parents.
Well, yeah,
So
but then if he doesn't hold the boundary, then there's a consequence.
Yeah. So I could see if you wanted to give him that, chance. I would say no, it's all or nothing, honestly, for me, for my own sake.
The thing is, I think he'll do all or nothing, but then I do think that if there's a chance of him potentially going back, you need to have, like, what is going to happen in place, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
That's true. Just having a plan for that.
Yeah.
Now on to the update. Update. I read the comments, but there are too many for me to reply to. I should have made this more clear, but not collecting child support was only if he is not a part of our son's life. Where we live, if you collect child support, then the father automatically has rights, but he has to sign the birth certificate for me to collect child support. Our baby is not old enough to be on his own with his father and won't be for a while since we do not live together. He has been here helping me through the rough nights, which is nice, but as of right now is not on the birth certificate. It's harder to take somebody off of a birth certificate than it is to add him to the birth certificate. By the way, we'll never make it hard on you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and just type OK Story Time. I'm on a roll with these. I'm never this good with those. There's a little bit more.
Yeah,
Do
let's
we just
hear
want to
it.
get into it?
Let's hear it.
Let's get into it. Right now, I am not collecting child support because I have everything that we need and I am set up financially for the time being, since I have been preparing for this for months and have a pretty decent job. I still have my guard up with him just because of the simple fact that him ditching out on us was obviously extremely hurtful, and I told him that he has to prove himself if he wants to be a part of his son's life. We have already talked about how life would be as a co-parenting, and supervised visits had definitely been a big one due to the situation with his parents. His mom currently lives here while his dad lives in Puerto Rico. His 4 kids are 2 males and 2 females, by the way. Oh, okay. I know a lot of people are saying to ditch the ex-boyfriend, which, trust me, I've definitely thought about. But when my son gets older, I want my son to at least know that I tried to have his father in his life instead of me not allowing him to be in his life if this doesn't work out. Yeah.
I feel like you know everything that's up, though, and you're doing
Yeah.
it cautiously.
Yeah. I think you're going about it in a smart way. I think as long as you have covered all of the tracks and have stated this is what you want and are very clear about boundaries, and if he crosses them, the consequences that will happen, then I think this could work out.
Wife excluded my son from their tradition, so I snapped.
Losing my tradition.
My wife, 34 female, let's call her Jessica, and I, male 32, recently got into a heated argument because she excluded my son, 8, let's call him Joe, from what I feel should be a family event. I end up yelling at her, and now she doesn't want me to participate in this event too. By the way, this comes from user throwaway862798, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Dakota.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. Pretty please. OP says, my wife is an avid runner and has been for almost a decade. It's very important to her because it helps her maintain her physical and mental health, and she has had a lifelong struggle with both. Each year, she and her son, male 7, let's call him Teddy, run an annual 10K. 7-year-old's running a 10K? Cool. Good for that. Good for Teddy.
6, 7.
She's been taking her son to this race since he was a year old, pushing him in a stroller, and he's been able to run with the whole thing with her without a stroller since last year. That's crazy. That's insane. Teddy's 6 years old running a 10K.
Maybe a little too insane for my taste.
Teddy has always loved running with Jessica, so it's always been their thing. Last year, I showed up to support Jessica at the 10K since it was the first one she did since we got together. It looked fun. I asked her if I could do the race with her the next time. She was ecstatic, but said that I would need to train since it's always been a personal goal of hers to run the entire distance. She has never walked during this race, even while pregnant or while pushing him in a stroller. She and Teddy trained last year, and they both ran the entire distance with no walk breaks. She, Teddy, and I have been training together, and we can all run at least that distance this year. Here's where my son comes in. I have him half the time, and he doesn't run with me when it's my week. He hasn't been interested in running, and neither of us will force him to participate in any physical activity if he isn't interested in it. Honestly, he hasn't been very interested in anything that involves physical activity and has been known to whine a lot when he's tired. Recently, she mentioned the race is in front of Joe. She wasn't mentioning it to be mean. She was running through the family calendar for the month and informed me that she had registered the 3 of us for the race. Joe perked up and asked if he could do the race too. I spoke up and said it would be fun and that we'd look into it, and he got so excited. I could already tell she'd want to talk about that. So, I told him to grab a snack and go play with his brother. I asked her if she could register him for the race too. She reminded me that she told me that if I wanted to run with her, I would have to train to be able to keep up with her and Teddy for the entire distance, and that Joe hasn't done any of that. I told her that if he gets tired, he could get out and walk, or I could push him in her old running stroller. She told me that I didn't realize what I was signing up for because adding that amount of weight, a stroller plus an 8-year-old, would add way more strain than I would expect. She said that if I really wanted to do it, she would sign him up, but that I should plan on not running with her and Teddy as they would be keeping up with their no walking tradition. Here's where I'm thinking I may have turned into the a-hole. I didn't agree with her suggestion. I told her that since we're a family now, we should make new traditions to include everyone. even if that includes changing one that's important to her. Here's some additional context. My wife has autism, and sometimes changes to important things like that really upset her. She got upset and said that she offered a compromise where everyone could do the same race, but not together because it's important to her to keep up with the no walk tradition. She also reminded me that a 10K is a long distance, especially for a kid who doesn't run at all. I again mentioned the stroller. She pushed back and said that a kid that age should be able to go the entire distance if he's going to participate at all, and said it was unlikely that I'd be able to push the stroller the whole distance, as she had to train a lot when she first started using the stroller for Teddy.
How old is this child?
Teddy is 7.
And then the other child?
I believe Joe is 8 or maybe 10, something like that. I think it's around that 8 to 10 range. Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. That's crazy. She's basically saying that a child should be able to. I don't know. It's extreme. That's extreme to think.
Especially when you've been training your entire life for this. I don't know. I also don't think it's smart to apply your son OP to this. Yeah, it sounds fun, but like I would have a talk like before you even like, yeah, let's do it. It's like, wait, Joe, this is like an extreme thing. Should like let's go for like a little walk. Like let's go for a 1K right now and see how you like that. Did you like that 1K, Joe? Okay, let's keep doing this. I say let's eat like maybe not this year, but let's do it next year. Or maybe like we can do this. Okay, you and me, we'll do this. Mom and Teddy will go do it their own pace. How about that? 2 different things.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. It shouldn't be like a thing where it's like, well, you have to do it exactly our way or it's not gonna happen. You shouldn't do it.
Exactly. Or it shouldn't be like it should be my way and we should have the stroller and like we hold you back. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this as a family, but guess what? Mom and Teddy are really good at this. They're gonna go at their own pace. Joe and myself, we haven't done this. We're gonna go at our pace. I could see how she was getting upset, but I thought I could get her to see my side. She finally snapped and said, I am not going to change up a tradition that's this important to me. You know how much change bothers me when I value something so much. And honestly, I can't handle the whining for 6 miles. I was floored. I know that some repetitive noises overstimulate her, but she has worked on that and has as coping mechanism. So I didn't think that would be an issue. That's when I raised my voice. I told her that she needed to get over herself because him having fun with all of us is more important than some stupid goal to avoid walking. She started crying. She walked off and said she no longer wants me to go with her and Teddy. I feel bad that I made her cry, but I don't feel bad for trying to make sure Joe is included. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for yelling at my wife because my son didn't get included? And we have some comments. I think you are an a-hole. I think this situation, like you're trying to do one side, she's trying to do one side, and none of you are compromising. It's like either for both of you, your mentality is my way or the highway kind of thing. I think yes, OP, you should include your son. You should include Joe, but this should be a whole conversation before you even like register him now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it should be. I don't know. I think everyone kind of sucks here. I think when you've got multiple children from multiple families, you know, that you can have like separate traditions and stuff, but you also don't want to make them feel like they're like othered. You want them to feel as equal as possible, you know?
Yeah, she was excited that you were training for this. Like she did say, like, oh, you want to join us? You want to join Teddy and I? You have to train for this. It's not like a walk in the park. But she should also be like, if you can't keep up with us, that's okay. Just registering you and you want to be a part of this is really sweet of you. We can go at our pace. You can go at your pace. Same thing with Joe. I feel like this needs to be a full-on conversation before things got heated.
Yeah.
But we have some comments. Comment number 1. You mentioned your wife struggling with changing important things a few times. How many of your wife's important things, preferences, and traditions have you already stomped all over? You are the a-hole. Comment number 2. You are the a-hole. This is her tradition. She's had with her son since before you came along. You asked to join. She told you the stipulations. She shouldn't have to change her traditions because your son, whom you admitted doesn't like physical activity and can be very whiny, suddenly thinks this will be fun. Running a 10K is not for an 8-year-old whiny kid who doesn't like physical activity. Also, she's learned to adjust to your son's whiny behavior on a normal day. Not a day she's doing extreme physical activity. She didn't tell you that you two couldn't join. She told you her and her son would not be waiting on you and your son if he decides to join. There is zero reason why she should have to compromise in this event, especially when she's made her expectations clear from the start. Also, her being autistic has nothing to do with this. I'm not autistic, and I make my expectations very clear to people when I have a goal, such as a 10K. And there's a reply. And notice, he wants to make new traditions by taking traditions away from his wife and Teddy, not by actually making new ones. That's going to lead to a massive resentment of Joe. Comment number 3, I see a lot of very true comments about how Joe will have to walk. He will be miserable, he will whine, he will ruin the race for everyone. But it's also not safe for him. Even if the wife and stepkid were not in the picture at all, OP, if your 8-year-old comes up to you and says, I want to run a 10K, you as the adult are responsible for guiding him on how to do that. Okay, that's great. This Saturday, let's go for a 1-mile run walk. We'll start doing that every week, and we'll gradually be able to go farther, and then when we can run a 10K together, we'll sign up for a race. You do not say, okay, let's sign up for a race that's happening in a week or 2. Again, back to my exact thing.
Yeah,
You said it yourself, OP. He hates physical activity. What are we doing?
that is true.
You are setting him up for misery, failure, and most importantly, possible injury. It is simply not a good idea for a sedimentary person to run 10K off the couch with no preparation. Not only that, but if the first ever run he goes on is a big organized race, there's a lot of added stress and pressure to keep up and to finish. Lots of adult runners experienced in running the distance in training really bonk during their first race because it's so hard to run at your own pace when surrounded by a crowd running at their pace. He's also a small child and much more susceptible to dehydration and heat exhaustion than adult bodies are, and much less experienced understanding with physical activity and taking care of his own body. Encourage his interest in running. Take him out to the park for a short run/walk. Take it at his pace, make it fun. If he remains interested, build gradually from there. Take him to a race that has a 1-mile kids fun run as a starting point when he's ready for that. You are the a-hole, but not just to your wife and stepson, you're the a-hole to Joe most of all. And there is an update. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean those comments are pretty solid.
I mean,
You
I
know-
said same thing I said.
It's just like I think the stroller thing. I don't know. I think yeah.
yeah, and I also
I
think
think you're right.
I think that comment on the tradition thing was like, yeah, you didn't really make a new tradition. You just took what she had, and you're like, I'm gonna be a part of that. Let's make
Yeah,
that
you're
our
just trying to
tradition.
plug it in, and it's just like, it's not like getting afternoon tea somewhere. It's
Yeah.
like a little more involved
How
than
about
that.
really easy thing you could do, OP? You have your family there. You have Teddy, you have Joe, you have Jessica, all in the room. Hey guys, to Joe and Teddy, what's something you both want to do that like we can do on like movie nights? Easy. Cooking nights.
Yeah.
Easy. Baking nights. Easy. Let's start there.
Yeah.
But we do have an update. Yeah, you guys are right. I effed up. I can't go through and respond to all of you in general, but the majority of you are right. I owe her a massive apology, and I'm going to talk to my son so he understands why this is an us thing. My wife is a wonderful, patient woman, and I'm going to do what I can to try and make this right and not cause any more resentment than I already have. And by the way, I would resent you if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to your favorite podcast apps such as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and search up OK Storytime.
Oh yeah.
You don't want me to resent you,
No.
unless if you do,
No.
weirdo. Let's just go ahead and finish up this story. To add some additional details. No, she does not exclude Joe from anything. I guess I just expected her to include him in this, just like she has with everything else. But I assumed that part without taking the effort required to train for and run a race into consideration. I can keep up with them if I don't have a stroller. That much I have done during plenty of runs with them. She was right though. With a stroller, I'd probably be passed away on the course in a mile or 2. And that's the end of that story. OP. All right. You gotta owe it up to her.
Break new ground, OP. It's time for something new. If you want a new tradition, make one.
Yeah, don't copy and paste it and add your little flair to it. I think you guys need to make a tradition. Movie night. Simple. Cooking.
Leaf tracing.
Something cute for everyone, but I think you need to ask Teddy and Joe what they both like, so you can go from there. Easy and simple.
Agreed.
My mother-in-law took my bedroom for herself.
We got Goldilocks in the house here?
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh, goodness.
I, 34 female, met my ex, 39 male, I will name him Joel, when I was 20 and he was 25. Through my best friend at the time, I will name her Trish, we were set up. They lived in the same apartment and wanted her bestie living next door, which I did not know at the time. It was nice and sweet at the start. By the way, this comes from Kana, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, one day while sitting on the recliner, his mother opened the door to his house, looked me up and down, grunted something, and proceeded to clean his entire house from top to bottom.
Was that a look of disgust?
Ugh. What a great first interaction, right? We rushed a lot and moved in together after a month. Instantly, things went to heck.
Whoa, back up.
Yeah.
After a month of being together?
Whoa.
This is not on the Sophia approved list either.
No.
We got- So far this episode, we have an age gap that's not approved,
Yeah.
a baby that's not approved,
Yeah.
and
Well, I'm
another
sure the
relationship.
baby's fine. I just think, like,
no, you don't no, you don't think that.
no, I hate the baby. Within the first 2 days, he accused me of sleeping with the 50-year-old user living next door.
All right, I love that you think my standard is that low.
That's crazy. Well, I was so uncomfortable even being near him alone. After 2 months, it was my 21st birthday. Joel had taken my car to a friend's house and was supposed to be dropped off at my parents' house to celebrate, but he didn't show, ignored all my messages, and didn't return to the apartment until 2 a.m. We had a huge fight, and I went to stay at Trisha's house for the night. A week later, we were celebrating a friend's birthday, and I didn't feel right. My stomach was cramping, and I had never felt this before. I was pregnant. Yep, after 2 months. Well, it seems like, it wasn't
Yeah,
planned, so.
you were 20, now you're 21. You know
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah. Looking at the timeline, I'd had a few drinks within the last month. That guilt destroyed me for weeks until my first ultrasound when I heard my perfect girl's heartbeat for the first time. I will say, it seems like OP's feeling guilty about drinking when she was pregnant, but
Okay.
you didn't know. A lot of times, as long as you weren't excessively drinking, it is okay. Obviously, you want to be careful and avoid that, but when you don't know.
Yes,
It's
as a
usually
woman
fine.
doctor, I agree.
At that point, I knew I did not want to be with this man anymore, but I was having his baby.
Nope. We're do not do the sunk cost fallacy.
No.
Does not apply here.
No. Coming from someone who has only ever known families staying together, I didn't want a separate family. Looking back, I regret that.
Oh no.
Pregnancy was horrible. I had all day, every day, morning sickness, fractured my sternum from throwing up so much, was hospitalized 4 times for IV nourishment drips, and lost 30 kilos throughout the pregnancy.
Sounds like you just didn't eat.
That's
Like,
awful.
Like you usually don't eat. Now you're having a baby and you're not eating. That's
Well, she's throwing up everything she's eating.
so her body's rejecting something.
Yeah, she said all day, every day morning sickness, and that she fractured her sternum from throwing up.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
I
So
heard
you
that
can't
part,
even
yeah.
keep down anything you're eating.
Oh goodness.
During one hospital stay, my mother-in-law came to see me and loudly commented to Joel, "I thought OP's front airbags were bigger than that. Her baby bump is bigger. Your mouth is pretty big too. Let's shut it." I am a B cup and a large woman, so I often look flat, especially lying down. It broke my heart, and I cried for quite a while. Well, mother-in-law, get out of there. Get out of the room.
Yeah, honestly, but it makes sense why Joel is the way he is.
Yeah, if his mom's like this.
Oh boy.
Birthing day arrived. I woke up needing to go to the bathroom because I had wet the bed. When I went back to bed, it happened again within 10 minutes, but I didn't feel myself go. I went to the living room where Joel had been sleeping, as at this point we were in separate rooms because my belly freaked him out and he didn't want to hit her during his sleep. I told him what was going on, and he hit our friend who was asleep on the couch and informed him. Why are we telling them? Why is this friend here? This friend was only 16 but had been my ward for 3 years.
What?
What?
Anyways.
He jumped off the couch asking what he needed to do for me, and ran straight into the wall, thinking it was the door 3 inches to the left. What is going on? After 4 hours, my mother drove me to the hospital, not thinking I was in labor, but Braxton Hicks contractions. The nurses informed us I was in active labor for the past 3 hours and that the baby would be there in 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Let's go.
Honestly, kind of nice. You get to the hospital and you just have a baby in 30 minutes.
All right.
Pretty good. Joel's mother refused to listen, grabbed my hand, and refused to leave. As the baby hit my pelvis, Joel walked in and stayed behind the curtain. My father saw this, shook his head, walked straight to me, kissed my forehead, and grabbed my hand. I gave my weak hand to Dad and my other hand to my mother. My mother at my legs said she had given birth 3 times, but never actually seen it. I didn't care. I love my mom. She's my true best friend. The baby took 35 minutes to arrive. Dang, quick. Joel refused to cut the cord, so my mom did. Joel sucks.
Well, I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
You wouldn't be able to cut the cord?
Dude, probably not.
Why?
I couldn't put my girlfriend's earring through her already done ear hole.
But you just have to, it's like a really big cord.
That is flesh to me. I don't know if I can cut flesh.
Oh, I see. I thought you were just saying like you couldn't you couldn't do it.
No,
Like,
just
you do
the
it wrong.
idea of cutting flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's too much.
sorry.
It's too much.
Now, if it was go time and I
Yeah.
was the only person capable of doing it,
You're the only one.
I can do it. But
All right.
we already have professionals in the room
Yeah, you're
here.
like, I'm going to let you guys handle that.
I'm going to have to pay a pretty good penny for this hospital bill.
Yeah,
I'm not the guy that's doing it. Okay.
it's fair. A month later, Joel's twin brother moved in as he needed a place to stay. As he walked in, he almost knocked over the bassinet and said, "Oops, forgot you had her," like it was no big deal.
Oh, boy.
Joel wasn't much better. Every time my little girl cried, he got annoyed and screamed, "Shut that effing punt up," directly at her.
Girl.
I know what you're thinking. Leave. It's a lot easier said than done at that point.
Yeah, I understand
Yes,
that.
understandable, but like that is the only advice I can give.
Yeah. Well, if you're in a situation like that,
Reach out to support system. It seems like you have your mom and dad.
still, it's like you have explained the situation in a way to yourself that this is like what you deserve. So it's
Yeah.
really hard to understand what you don't deserve. Because I've
Yeah.
talked to people that have been in a situation like this, and it's like
It's so hard.
they just don't know the answer.
And also, I mean, OP's already said she's 20 years old. Well, she's 21 now. She's 21, just had a baby, has been with this guy not very long, thinks in her mind, oh, well, I need to stay with him because that's all I know. I've only known, families that are together.
Yeah.
Or like the families that I do know that have separated have not been good or something. That's really tough.
This is tough.
And he's 5 years older than you. So there is also a little bit of a power imbalance there too. Not that he's any much more mature in terms of like ability to raise a child though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hope that you have the ability to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story.
You got it.
Let's hit it. A month later, Joel's mother moved in. So you've got your ward, your 16-year ward. You have your partner's twin brother, and you have his mom.
All right, I feel like at this point you guys should run a hotel.
Yeah, they should start paying rent, saying she needed to help with the baby. Later, I found out she had been kicked out and kicked me out of my bedroom.
That's not really helping with the baby.
Do you not sleep with your partner?
No, he sleeps on the couch.
Still? I thought that was just because she was pregnant.
Dude, this guy? Come on.
I refused to let anyone sleep in the bedroom, so Joel and I moved into the lounge on a mattress while his mother and twin took the bed. I was made to buy her very expensive cigarettes because she could only have the best quality. I'm sorry, she's smoking? She better not be smoking around the baby.
I think she is.
She never actually helped with the baby. I was supporting 5 people on government wages alone and struggled to buy food. I never ran out of baby food, even when they started eating it. They started eating your baby's food because it was better food than when I was buying the adults. Eventually, my mother-in-law moved out and I got my bedroom back. 2 months later, my baby girl and I moved into my parents' house, but that's a whole story in itself. I met a man and he is the best father for my girl. Thank goodness. I'm so
Wow.
happy for you, OP.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really know how to finish, so I'll end it by saying that if you are stuck in a relationship as bad as this, I am so sorry. I hope that one day you will be free. Thanks for reading, guys. And comment Wow, that was a lot. Always remember to put your happiness first. And you being happy, your daughter will be happy and doesn't need to be around a toxic environment. Sometimes we think we're making the best decisions for our kids by sticking around, but we're really not. Just look out for both of you. Best of luck.
I'm gonna be honest. I disagree with that, Calvin.
What?
I don't think you should always put your happiness first. In some seasons, you need to bear like certain things. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying stay in a bad situation, stay in a toxic situation. Always like
I see what you're saying.
strive for joy and for peace. But sometimes in my life, I'm not happy.
Yeah, you
but
can't be happy all the time.
Yeah, but that's always the goal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, commenter, but
Yeah. But
People go
I
through
think
seasons.
mostly what OP is, or the commenter is saying is, don't sacrifice your happiness
honestly,
with the belief that that will make your child's life better.
well-being.
Yeah, maybe well-being is the
Yeah,
better way to
yeah.
put it, because you're not always going to be happy, but if you're in a better place, just in terms of like, if you're in a better state of mind, you are better able to parent your child.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the end of that story. And my husband constantly asks me to praise him, and I'm getting tired of it.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
It has been an ongoing thing lately where my husband, 30 male, will say in a condescending or sing-song tone, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, husband's name," followed by whatever task he is wanting praise for in the moment. This story. And it comes from Miss Kitty Cartoon. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Vincent. We got Keon back here too.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. I, 28 female, have always been fairly diligent about telling my husband thank you for doing things that I do appreciate him doing, like washing the dishes, starting the fire, making dinner, and so on. I feel like I usually do it at an appropriate point in the flow of our lives, dealing with an 18-month-old and a second on the way at 5 months, when I notice, with maybe a few exceptions for when my brain just malfunctions entirely. This seems to be happening a lot more lately because I'm pregnant again, pretty close to having the first. I feel really badly about not thanking him properly for doing things like that, but sometimes they just slip my mind. I kind of snapped today though, because it seems to be happening more frequently that he's requesting praise for tasks he's completed around the house. Admittedly, I myself have been slacking in this department a bit too much lately. Tonight, however, was the final straw, and I wanted to address it. I had been thinking about addressing this issue at other times because I do believe it to be an issue at a certain point that I thought would be more appropriate, not when I was frustrated or annoyed in the moment, but with how my brain has been lately, I probably would have just forgotten about it again and let the behavior continue to go seemingly unnoticed. I kind of snapped at him a little tonight. I get home after my husband. He gets home 2 hours before I do and relieves our caregiver for our son, and we'll do chores and play with him before I get home. Right now, due to the time change, I get home after dark, and it's another 2 hours until we put our son to bed. We both work 40 hours a week, with him sometimes working 50, and I work on a 4 to 10 schedule. I walked in the door and was taking my shoes and coat off, putting my purse down, all while trying to appease our hyperactive dogs, trying to say hello to them and my son, who is the first thing I see and look for when I get home because of how much I love how he greets me with a giant grin every time. I had just gotten my shoes off and had patted one of the dogs on the head while calling out to my son to get a hug and kiss, which he obliged. I paused to do that with my coat and purse still hanging on me. I set him down and walked over to the dining room table to put my purse and coat down when I heard my husband say his go-to praise me phrase. I took a breath, finished setting my stuff down, and while repeating what he said, I said, "Thank you, husband, for starting the fire," which I always say sincerely. This pattern, however, has started to deeply annoy me, and I finally addressed it to him. I told him, "You know, when you do that, you sound like a child when you're saying that. I mean, I do usually praise you when I notice things you've done right." Gave me a look I interpreted as slightly sheepish and maybe a little confused, which is where I think I may have crossed a line. I then said, "You sound like a child when you do that. Mommy, praise me. Tell me I did a good job."
It's just like, here's what we didn't get, guy. We needed to mix it up a little bit, You kept delivering the same, the same old song and dance. Maybe, you can only recycle so many times, before you can't.
He was definitely upset after that and maybe a little hurt that I made fun of him. I think I repeated it, and he told me to shut up. though I cannot remember exactly, but I know he has been quieter tonight, likely giving me mostly the silent treatment, even though he has talked with me here and there. I wondered if I was the a-hole for addressing this praise-seeking behavior. I understand that probably not addressing in the moment would have been the best choice, but I probably would have forgotten to address it later due to playing with our child, doing a dinner, and the bedtime routine. I am the type of person who has to get the thought out in the moment or else I forget. I also tend to come up with a good comeback hours later and never tell the person because it's too late. Girl,
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
What?
5 hours later, Opie's like, wait, I got you.
I gotta go back.
Just comes back around the
Girl.
corner. And by the way,
Girly, why are we trying to think of a good comeback for your husband to address an issue?
For
you just
5
get-
hours, yeah.
you get right out of the shower and you're like, you know what? I
Oh.
just thought of something, by the way.
She's Doctor Stranging in the, she's like, I got the one, I got the one, I got the one.
I've
I got
come
the
to
one.
bargain. I think that because I had been thinking about addressing this issue for a while and felt it was childish, that is why I expressed it poorly in this moment. I wondered if there was a more mature way to get my point across. Am I the a-hole? Truly any other way would have been mature, more mature than this.
Is there some other way I could have gotten my point across?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well, you
Um,
could have challenged him to a physical match of judo taekwondo.
Does he praise you every time you do something? He wants praise because he believes the jobs are yours and he needs thanks for helping you. Opie says he does usually, but I don't really seek it either, lol. Comment 2 says, I mean, you recognize that you weren't in the right headspace and snapped a little, but WTF is up with your husband needing constant praise for doing basic life tasks. Was he a huge participation trophy kid? He's the a-hole. Unless he also praises you constantly when you do stuff around the house. And I agree, he wants praise for doing things he thinks are your job. These comments are not right. And I'm a little worried that OP is going to read them and be like, I was right. I should yell at my husband. That's a healthy way to communicate with your partner. And I'm worried about that.
Yelling is never okay unless you're doing karate and you go, Huss! And that's even that's not really yelling.
Look, I thank my husband for doing things around the house, and he thanks me. But we usually at least let the other get their dang coat off first. Sometimes we'll be getting ready for bed, and he'll say, that was a good dinner, thank you. Or if I'm busy rushing around the next day, I might say, hey, I noticed you ran the vacuum yesterday. I appreciate it. Validation on demand is worthless. You should both be letting each other know you appreciate what the other does, but it doesn't have to be a right this very second thing. You might point out that it would feel better for both of you if he let you do it on your time and sincerely instead expecting you to perform validation like you're a trained SEAL. And if you're forgetting gratitude, he should initiate a conversation with you like an adult. This morning, I got our usual good morning text from him. I replied when I woke up to get ready for work, saying I was really sorry for snapping at him and was hoping we could have a better, constructive conversation later if he was up for it. He replied by reacting to the message with a heart. I greatly appreciate all the advice I received in the comments and have thought about it a lot. I'm trying to gather my thoughts for a conversation I want to have. I plan to apologize again in person for snapping at him and mocking him while addressing my frustration. I also will apologize if I have been forgetting to express gratitude for the things I appreciate. I plan to express my true gratitude for how much he contributes and how he has been picking up a lot of my slack while I have been pregnant. While this is not an excuse for not pulling my share of the weight, I will explain my current level of exhaustion with everything going on. I'll explain why I became frustrated. The fact that it feels excessive lately, the tasks he is asking praise for are things he would normally do anyway, and that I felt ambushed while trying to get settled into the house. I'll also mention that his mocking tone, passive-aggressive expectations, and immediate demand for praise have been hurting my feelings. I will also ask questions to understand him better. What brought this on? Does he need validation at that exact moment? Is it okay for me to express gratitude in my own time? Is he seeking praise from somewhere else, and how can I support him more? By the way, you can support us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Finally, I plan to discuss solutions. I want to be able to express appreciation freely on my own time after getting home. If I forget, I would like him to remind me or go through the tasks he accomplished in a mature, constructive way. We will also discuss the division of household labor, accounting for pregnancy and postpartum adjustments, making more time for each other away from the kids, and ensuring our love languages are being met on both ends. I will emphasize that major life events will require appropriate communication moving forward. I appreciate the help from everyone in formulating this conversation. Neither of us is perfect, and I may return for advice if I mess up another situation. Comment 1 says, so basically, he's allowed to act like a child, and if you get frustrated by it, you have to apologize. That comment is dumb.
You should give that comment a gold star.
I'm giving that comment a red thumbs down. I think you should apologize and have an actual conversation with your husband, and he should apologize, and then we're good.
My son's birthday took an unexpected turn, and I wasn't ready.
Well, I hope it went well.
I, 25 female, am a single mom to Lewis, who just had his 6th birthday. My son also happens to be on the autism spectrum. He's high functioning, but is still trying to navigate his everyday life with some difficulties. By the way, this comes from Luckiest, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you do in the comments. And Opie says he has sensory issues, special interests, and he gets overstimulated in really crowded places. However, he's been slowly navigating his life and has been doing so much better as he gets older. Now that you have some background about him, I want to tell you about my boyfriend, Jordan. He's a heavy machinery mechanic who focuses mostly on farming equipment, but will also help out some construction businesses if they're in a pinch and don't have a person for that already. Jordan owns his own business, which he runs out of his own house and garage. He lives on a big plot of land in the rural areas. He keeps livestock like chickens, ducks, goats, and cows, but he doesn't farm them out. I personally don't understand how he has the time to do everything he does with us and work, but he's amazing. Lewis instantly took a liking to Jordan and vice versa. Lewis loves visiting the farm, as he calls it, and riding around with Jordan on his UTV. Lewis is super interested in building Lego and just working with his hands. He loves to follow Jordan in the garage and learn about cars, engines, tractors, balers, etc. Jordan has been an absolute godsend for Lewis. He's so careful with him. He even buys packs of gloves so Lewis doesn't need to worry as much about the sensory overload with grease and whatever else they come into the house covered in. Moving to this last month, Jordan told me that he wanted to give Lewis the best possible birthday he could. I kind of brushed it off as he'll get him a small gift like one of the cheap Lego sets or toy tractors, but nope. He walked us to the big garage and opened the door. This man went out of his way to get Lewis every single thing he could think of.
Aww.
He got Lewis 10 Lego sets and built him a freaking go-kart.
What?
What?
What is going on here?
This is awesome.
Aw.
This man spent well over $1,000 on my son. I know he makes a lot of money, but my jaw hit the floor. I instantly just dropped to the floor sobbing.
Aww.
I never ever expected anybody to be so caring about a little boy they didn't have to do anything for. Lewis was overjoyed. The first thing he did was yell, "Is that a go-kart? Can I ride in it with you, Jordan? Wait, are these Lego sets? You got me the Titanic set? I
What?
wanted that forever."
Oh, that's a big set.
Is it?
It's a big set.
Oh, wow. The look on Lewis's face was enough to last me a lifetime of happiness. Jordan did what nobody else has done for us without even asking. The look on Jordan's face was just pure excitement to see Lewis so happy. Of course, he told Lewis that the go-kart was his and that he can drive it as long as one of us sits with him until he learns how to drive in it better. I'm sorry for all the rambling and maybe some of it was not coherent, but thank you to anyone who read this. I think I'm going to buy this man a ring. And there is an edit. I can't express how grateful I am for so many people to have read this and just how kind everyone is. You're all my friends now, and I hope whoever
Aw.
sees this gets nothing but joy from life. You're just
This
so
is-
sweet,
that's so
OP.
sweet.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And we do have some comments, but wow, Keon, this is amazing.
We don't get these very often.
We surely don't. That's true.
This sounds amazing. I think you have to, of course, tell Lewis to be like, hey, make sure you tell Jordan thank you first and foremost.
Yeah. Right.
Which I guarantee you he will. You know,
Yeah.
he seems like a very great kid. And then go to Jordan and be like, when people give me gifts, I'm like, well, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, yay, gift. But
right,
like,
right.
because my love language is also gift giving. I
Sure.
love giving gifts.
Yeah.
So I can see that how it works, but it's just, yeah, tell Jordan how appreciative you are and like
Yeah.
genuinely like this is crazy. You didn't have to go this extreme or this far. I mean, even getting him like one thing or two things goes a long way, but you got him the whole
Right.
cake, and he's gonna eat the cake and another cake,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then you like bought him 10 cakes and then made one from scratch. Like grew the flour and everything.
That is crazy.
There are some comments here. Comment number 1 says, "You have found yourself a gem. Such a heartwarming story. The world needs more Jordans." OP replied, "I really have. Thank you so much." Comment 2 says, "Update us when you propose to him with a Lego tractor goat ring." He sounds like a lovely man, and your son sounds like such a precious child. OP replied, "I absolutely will." Comment 3 says, "Son of a... Why people gotta be cutting onions when I'm just trying to chill and enjoy some Reddit on my lunch break?"
Aw.
Happy to hear Lewis had an awesome birthday. OP replied, "Sorry about the onions. I got hungry."
What are you, Shrek?
Comment number 4 says, "I hope you and your son treat him as well as how he seems to treat y'all. It seems y'all have found the start of your forever family. I know how imposter syndrome can get some people, so I'll go ahead and say this now. You and your son deserve all the love that comes your way, and if it feels right, fight for it.
Bingo.
May you all be intentional with your actions and words, and may you all be safe. Cherish every moment, and if you ever feel as if you can't appreciate him as much as you think he should be, just know your words of gratitude and appreciation can go a long way. Being vocal about someone's worth goes more of a long way than most people realize. I'm sorry I read books like this. I've already planned your happy ending." OP replied, "I'm glad you planned the happy ending. I think it sounds absolutely amazing. Thank you." Comment 5 says, "My brain is so ruined by life that I was expecting a cruel ending to this post. Good for you."
So
He's
were
a
we.
keeper.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. So were we. I was like, what's
Right?
the catch?
I was like, oh, we weren't like halfway through the story yet. Uh-oh, something's gonna happen. But
It was a positive one.
positive. OP replied, "I'm glad I could surprise you." And we do have an update here on December 29th, 2025, which is 26 days after the first post.
This was about a month ago.
I'm excited.
Oh.
What do we think is gonna happen?
I hope something very magical.
I hope a ring is in the mix here. Uh-oh.
He buys you Legoland.
Yeah, there you go. Hi, everyone. I really wanted to make an update post, and I think now is the perfect time. After Lewis's birthday, me and him sat down to make a thank you card. I made sure Lewis wrote everything himself and told him to really think and make it personal.
Oh.
I also said make it as funny, creative, or whatever other adjective he could think of, but make sure it's nice. He did just that. We picked out a giant trifold poster, his idea, and got all kinds of decorations and craft stuff. He spent days trying to make it perfect. We printed out pictures of Lewis and Jordan together and glued them on right next to all the drawings and writing that he put. I even wrote my own little section where there was free space. I put down, "Thank you, Jordan," not just for all the gifts, all the dinners, movie nights, game nights, and even the guy time, as you two call it. Thank you for seeing Lewis for who he is and what he enjoys and not what sets him back. I know he can't fully put into words how he feels sometimes, but believe me, he loves you more than you could know. You've replaced me as his best friend, and honestly, I couldn't be more grateful for that. You've made this past year a dream come true, even through the struggles. I love you.
Oh my goodness.
Ah, this is great.
So many onions.
So many onions. After we finally got the card to be up to standard, as the little boss man likes to say, we jumped into the car and headed over for a surprise visit. Jordan was having dinner with his parents, who we just absolutely adore. I think they treat us more like family than my own. LOL. I already warned Jordan's parents we'd be popping in quick, so there was no unwanted interruptions. Anyways, we told the parents that we were on our way and we'd sneak in. Well, we got caught trying to sneak a giant poster board past the windows. Jordan greeted us at the door, gave us hugs and me a kiss, and let us in. We sat down and watched Jordan open his comically large letter. He opened it and started looking all across the cardboard. He sat reading with tears welling up and just muffled a "I love you guys too" before excusing
Aw.
himself to get a tissue. This is so
This
sweet.
is so sweet.
Oh my gosh. We proceeded to spend the night playing games, building Lego, and just hanging out with everyone. By the way, you can hang out with us every single day by listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Storytime. And there is more loveliness to this story, but dude, onions
It's too much
for
love.
sure.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Too many onions in here.
Who let the onions out? Wow.
This is so sweet.
This is one of those things where we don't really need to give advice and you just say, "That's so good.
Just thank you.
Thank you."
You're giving us advice
Yeah.
in a way. Thank you so much, Opie, for sharing this loveliness.
Amazing story.
I
Yeah.
like this side of Reddit.
Me
This is great.
too.
There is a little bit more to the story. Now, on to the big change. We're moving in with Jordan. Oh my
Aw.
gosh. My lease is coming up for renewal in February. Jordan wrapped up a box with the house key to ask. Obviously, I jumped up with excitement and I ran over and dove into his arms. He also gave Lewis his own key for his bedroom. He waited until I said yes to ask Lewis. Now, I hate to say Lewis is a little nervous and excited, but we're here so much anyways, and I feel like this is the first step to building a healthy future. We also wanted to make sure we could live together without problems before making any big leaps. Anyways, now it's packing and donation times to clear out some of my old stuff and make room for new things. I'm so grateful for everything I have and everyone who reads/has read any part of this or the last post. I love each and every one of you and wish you all the best. But that's the end of that story.
My family enabled my brother's behavior for years, and I'm done with it.
You're out of my life.
And we have a trigger warning for mentions of mistreatment. My 36 female brother, 40 male, has autism, which he uses as an excuse for any bad action he has done. I dealt with a lot from him ever since I can remember. By the way, this comes from a fast. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. Much of my life was actually based around him. Activities, the food we ate, bedtime, driving age, dating age, until I was 24 and left home. In recent times, he got more harmful verbally, and I went very low contact with him. My parents, for the longest time, sided with him, thinking that because of his disability, he couldn't lie. So they believed all of his lies until they realized his stories didn't make sense. My father had threatened to sue me for pestering my brother at one point when he was the one pestering me.
God.
I'm pregnant now, 19 weeks in. My family keeps asking when I will forgive him and let him back into my life. His way of saying sorry is to grumble, sorry, and immediately repeat the mistreatment. I honestly don't want him anywhere near me, nor my baby. They're constantly guilting me and making me feel like I need to forgive him. I needed the toxic cycle to stop. And since I stopped talking to him, I've been much more at peace. My husband has been supportive of me through all of this. So yeah, am I the a-hole here?
No.
No.
Under no obligation to continue a relationship, familial or otherwise, if that person mistreats you.
Yeah. And this is also
Yeah,
a failure
that's
on your
simple.
parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's not on you.
Comment 1, not the a-hole. I'll tell you the same thing I tell my wife about our high-functioning autistic son. He may behave a certain way because of his condition, but by no means does that give him a pass. His condition demands a little more patience and grace, but does not prelude him from repercussions. You have to do what is best for your child. If that means shielding your child from a toxic family member, regardless of excuse, then so be it. When your child is older and can grasp the situation, you explain things, set expectations, then allow them to decide what relationship they want with uncle, if they want one at all. Comment 2, having firsthand experience with an autistic person, they often know they shouldn't do something and are embarrassed that they keep doing something. So the lackluster apology is probably from embarrassment. However, they understand that there are repercussions. They may visibly lash out with frustration, but they understand. Someone replies, only if they are taught that their behavior is wrong. It reads like the parents just enable him, not the a-hole. Keep yourself and your child away from the toxic family. Trust me, this is something you won't ever regret. The longer you are away, the freer you will be. Then you'll be able to see just how toxic it was. Glad and relieved that you protected your child. And we have an edit. I want to thank everyone who commented on this topic. It gave me plenty to consider and was reassuring. We have an update.
Yeah,
Those comments were good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have no other thoughts to
Yeah.
say than,
Oh my God.
continue what you're doing.
5 years later.
Whoa, okay.
That's our jump.
That's a huge
Predictions.
jump.
Any predictions? I think she'll hold strong.
I think you held strong.
I think so too.
I hope so.
5 years later. I posted a story to Am I the A-hole a little over 5 years ago about my family, mom, dad, their son, and me, and asking if I should give them another chance at being in my life. Am I the a-hole? I would have been to myself, my husband, and my daughter had I allowed my family to influence me as they had for so many years. I haven't gone through therapy yet, but I've been looking into doing so. Much of this is self-reflection. So I used to suffer CPP, especially with my family. My mother's son, who was the golden child with a learning disability that he insisted was autism, and probably other things, maybe so.
Wait,
Was
hold
he
on.
not tested?
I don't know that that's an official diagnosis.
But also, I just looked at this for the update. This update was posted in our subreddit.
I was about to say because they used
It said
CPP.
CPP. I was like, wait.
I was about to ask, was this our subreddit?
It's our subreddit, yeah.
No way.
Well, the update is. I don't think the
update.
original post was because it was 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So
Crazy.
kind of like one of our own, but
Wonder if
also
one of our own had
crazy.
an
But they
update
also
5
used
years
one of our
later.
terms.
Yeah. I was wondering if you guys got that from Reddit. My parents adopted me as a baby and told me when I was 13 that I would be responsible for his care when they were no longer able to. I lived my life with countless
They
events.
adopted you at 13 for the
No, they adopted her as a baby and told her at 13.
Okay. I'm
But-
sorry.
but
I thought
yes,
they adopted
still.
you at 13.
As a baby at 13 said, and you will be responsible for your
Wow, did
brother.
they-
I lived my life with countless events my parents missed because they had to go to his events or his therapy or any matter of things. I understood my place when I was 6 and it was Parents' Day at school. They didn't show up despite promising to after they attended his event.
Oh, why would you adopt a child if you're not even going to take care of them? So messed up.
Why hire a babysitter when we can just
raise
mold
one.
one? Yeah, we can
Yes.
just mold one. That's crazy.
When I got home that day, I was given the, "Oh, we got out of it late and thought we missed yours. Sorry." Another part of this was my parents' refusal for so many years, well into my 20s, to figure out that he was able to lie, gaslight, and harm. No matter how bad it was, they would always believe him over me, even the times where I was inappropriately handled. I was always the liar, the bad kid, and he could do no wrong. I could honestly go on and on about various events, but the one that stands out most is when my father called me one day to threaten to press charges of intimidation against me if I didn't stop pestering their son at our workplace. I was confused and contacted Mom, who had, in days before, realized her mistake in her belief about her son not being able to lie. She contacted Dad, they were divorced, and discussed it with him before I got another call from Dad giving an actual apology. He had no idea how easily manipulated he had been until that moment. His son would be forced to apologize, but he never apologized sincerely before, so I didn't expect a sincere apology that time either. He gave a very half-done apology and used his autism as his excuse, as he had done his entire life. He then brought up how I wronged him by finishing the last of the grape juice 10 years prior as his reason for harming me for so many years.
That's his reasoning is like, hey, listen, we grew up together. You kind of raised me in a sense. I don't F with you because you finished the grape juice 10 years ago, by the way.
Before this gives you hope that my family was on the right track now, I was living alone by this point in my life, and I went very low contact with them. My life was actually pretty peaceful then, despite the job that sucked. I was in a relationship and we got serious, moving into a house together after a few years. A year or so after moving in there, I got a letter from Dad accusing me of being a terrible family member for not being in contact with any of them and needing to wake up about my life because my family is everything and nothing else matters. I was immature at the time and posted the letter on Blue Icon for my friends to read and mock. I deleted it later when I reflected on it and realized it was not okay to do. I also apologized to Dad later for posting it to make him look bad. Around then, I went no contact with their son, except for if something dire happened to a family member. The family, including step-parents, aunts, uncles, all started to put pressure on me to be the bigger person and forgive him for whatever he had done to me. This lack of any understanding of what happened caused me to go low contact with every one of them until they could accept that I was serious about my stance. Dad had passed on earlier in the year, and I was being asked if their son was going to walk me down the aisle at the wedding later in the year. I told them no. I would walk myself down with Dad in spirit beside me. That answer didn't please them, but they made no contribution to the wedding, besides Uncle, who danced with me at the reception in honor of Dad.
That's lovely.
No contact was my response back to them. Hubby was my absolute support through all of this. And by the way, you should support us by watching more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left, but
I think that was all great moves being made.
all good things.
Yeah, good for you, OP, for not, faltering to them and then, being pressured
Yeah.
to do, what
Yeah.
they say. You were like, nah.
You stood your ground.
Yeah, stand your ground and proud of you.
Send him a video of you drinking grape juice.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Since then, life happened. A few years later, got pregnant and really reflected on everything. My family started to pressure me hard in allowing him back into my life, to be the bigger person, to be a whole family again. When I made that post, it was in a moment of weakness, where I almost gave in. Since then, I have maintained low to no contact with any of them. I see mom maybe 2 to 3 times a year, mostly for my little one's sake. Little is never left alone with mom's son, who lives with her. I still face occasional pressure here and there from family, but a solid reminder to them that I am not above cutting them out usually puts them back in their place. As terrible as that sounds. Guess I should wrap this up. I am not the a-hole, and I know it. I am recovering from a lifetime of trying to keep the peace and people-pleasing while raising my kid completely different from the way I was raised. I hope to do right by her, and for now, doing my best to see it through. Thanks for listening, and I wish you all the best.
Lovely.
Very nice.
I'm glad that you're one of our own and that you are out of that bad
Yeah.
family situation.
Yes, it's very good that you are out of that. The end of that
Yeah.
story.
My husband wanted to name our baby after his grandfather, but I'm standing my ground.
I'm sorry, your grandfather is named Craig. I don't like that name. Sorry.
We're expecting our first child, a boy, and I'm due in March. My husband and I had gone over names. Our understanding was that the last name would be his, the middle name would be my husband's name, and while we were both going over first names, he used to defer to my choice as long as he was okay with the name. Only fair, he got 2 out of 3 names.
Yeah.
You should get at least 1.
Come on.
Fortunately, my first choice was one he was good with, and that's what we decided. By the way, this comes from overinitial 6175, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Angie.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, yesterday he told me he wanted to honor his late grandfather, my mother-in-law's father, by using his first name instead of his own as the middle name. He said his mother had suggested it and that they were all close to him before he passed away from cancer that they caught very late, so it was somewhat untimely. I tried to be as diplomatic about it as I could, but I said that I didn't think it was a good idea to do that. His reasoning was that the middle name was supposed to be his name, and he was just choosing to give it away to his grandfather, so it was the same thing. I said, no, it's not. His name was something I was okay with, something that I wanted. I love him, and by extension his name, and I wanted to be part of our son's name, not his grandfather's, whom I've never met. What do you think about that? Because I have thoughts.
I think he's thinking it's the same thing as in, like, he has a choice over that middle name. I think that's where his thought is. Which, I mean, I don't know. That's actually a thing that's, like, pretty common in my family.
Yeah.
It's, like, naming middle names after family members that, like, pass away that year. Like,
Same.
my middle name, my nephew's name, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally fine.
Personally, I agree.
Yeah.
My middle name and I'm named after my 2 of my great grandmothers,
Okay.
and my brother is named his middle name is my grandfather's name.
Yeah.
So I personally don't see anything wrong with this.
I don't either. Maybe we just need to hear the name because it might just
Yeah.
be a really bad name.
Opie's like, no, I just don't have a connection.
Yeah,
That's why.
That's why.
I said, no, it's not. His name was something I was okay with, something that I wanted. I love him and by extension his name, and I want it to be a part of our son's name, not his grandfather's, whom I've never met. We kind of ended at an impasse. He thinks I'm being unfair, that he had been accommodating when it came to the first name, which is true, because that was my call, while the middle name was his. I've told him that the middle name was supposed to be his name. Am I the a-hole? And there is an edit. What do you think?
Yeah.
I agree.
I kind of, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You could have your own opinions on what you want the name to be and stuff like that, but this is such a nice tribute to someone that he was obviously close with. And even if you never met him, like, dude, you're a
cares?
family now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this isn't that big of a deal.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a middle name.
Yeah.
You said that your husband could choose it.
Yeah. He's choosing it.
He's choosing it. Edit. I've read the comments and thank you for the feedback. I guess the middle name being my husband's prerogative makes sense. I don't hate the name he's suggesting, and if it's important to him, then fine. I sound dramatic, I know, but I need some time to mourn the complete name I had in mind. It was just the first name we chose, followed by my husband's name. and it was perfect in my mind. But I understand it's a compromise. I'm just going to take some time to process it. Comment 1 says, yeah, I'm going to withhold judgment on the question. If you don't like the name, that's one thing, but this right here is not great. 2 of my sons have my wife's uncle's names. One has his first name and another has his middle name as a second hyphenated first name. I never met him. He passed away years before my wife and I even met, but I understand that he meant the world to my wife, and I was more than okay with him being honored like that. With our youngest boy, I had a different second middle name picked out of a list that included her uncle's middle name. When I told my wife which one I had picked and it was not her uncle's name, she asked me if we could use her uncle's name, and I agreed without even blinking. If you don't have a problem with the actual name, why not go ahead and let it be? And OP says, that makes sense. We'll go with his grandfather's name.
All right.
I feel like OP came on here and was like, this is ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
and everyone
yeah.
was like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Like,
dang.
Yeah, okay.
Comment 2 says, the thing about not having met his grandfather is kind of a sick thing to say. Like it's just some stranger and not someone your husband had a relationship with. I never got to meet 2 of my partner's grandparents, but I'm still interested in knowing about and remembering them as people who shaped my partner and are part of my lineage now too. Comment 3 says, gently. You're the a-hole.
That's a great way to say it.
Real
gently.
gentle. No offense.
Yeah.
You got to choose the first name, subject to him being okay with it. Now, why can't you do the same for him on the middle name? Right now, you're effectively trying to choose all of it yourself. Comment 4 says another possibility would be to give the child 2 middle names, your husband's and his grandfather's. That seems like a win-win situation. Having said that, your mother-in-law should stay in her own lane. She got to name her children. You and your husband should be allowed the same. Wishing you a safe and uneventful delivery. And comment 5 says, you're the a-hole. You were okay until the end. You got to pick the first name, and he got to pick the middle name. That was the agreement, it would seem. I love him, not his grandfather who I've never met. So basically, you get to name your child, and he gets to pick the middle name as long as it's one you approve of? Why not just cut out the nonsense and pick it yourself, since that seems to be the goal? The selfishness here is off the charts. Either he picks the middle name or he doesn't. Stop this nonsense. Comment 6 says, it sounds like you just want to control the entirety of the naming process. If he came back tomorrow and said he didn't like your choice, would you still use it? You told him the middle name was his choice, no strings attached. Now that he changed it to something you don't want, it suddenly has strings? OP says no. When we had started looking at names, we had agreed the middle name would be his, as in his name. The possibility of him substituting it with anyone else's hadn't really been talked about. Comment 7 says, well, that sounds like you didn't communicate properly. Sounds like you said he could use his middle name because you liked it. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he settled because you took control. You didn't answer my question. If he said he didn't like the name you chose, would you still use it? OP says, no, I wouldn't. If my first name choice was one he had an issue with, I wouldn't have pushed for it. Comment 8 says, you're the a-hole, you gotta choose the first name. Is the grandpa's name reasonable? Or do you just want to control and want to choose all 3 names? Because it sounds like you had a hand in picking all 3. OP says, it's reasonable as a name. And OP says, I'm going to think over this. Until yesterday, I was welcoming my son with a particular name, and now that just changed. Maybe I need some time. Also, I liked my husband's name being our son's middle name, and that's not happening anymore. The deal was me having more of a say in the first name, the last name being his, and the middle name being his name. His name, not a placeholder for any other name he wants to insert. And there is an update. I think OP, I feel like we had a mix of comments there from OP, but it seems like OP is on the same page now of like, I'm going to let that, I'm like, to let this go.
Yeah, I think so. I'll withhold judgment on
Yeah.
the like morning of the name.
Yeah.
Which I feel like me saying that is just a way to say that I'm judging it. but I mean, whatever. Because I kind of get that. If you're pregnant and you have this kid and you have like your idea of how things are going to go, I can understand putting a name to your future child is going to be meaningful to you.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of makes it not more real in a way, but like kind of kind of
Yeah.
more real in a way, And so I can understand that like that expectation has changed, and so that just you need a second to adapt. But I like that you're doing it and that
Me
you're
too.
you're going along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. OP says, thank you for all the comments on my post. They were eye-opening and super helpful. After reading them, I decided to be okay with us choosing his grandfather's name instead of his. The comments made the important point that even though I'd never met him, he was clearly important to my husband. As much as I wanted my husband's name as the middle name, it felt like a good way to honor him. Yesterday morning, I told him that I was on board with using his grandfather's name as the middle name. Didn't pout or anything. Just genuinely said that if he wanted that, then I was okay with it. He asked me if I was sure, and I said yes. By the way, I'm sure that you guys can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Great, OP.
Yeah.
You have continued to prove that I should be on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am on your side.
Here we are.
I'm
Still
here.
on your side. It was up in the air,
Yeah.
but I'm firmly on your side.
Congrats. Good job.
Then last night, he spoke to me about it again and said that if I preferred his name as the middle name, then that's what we should do. I told him I'd come to terms with the change, and he said he pushed for it because his mom wanted it, and he thought he did too.
What?
But after thinking it over more, he wanted the name to be the one I wanted more.
What?
Pick a side.
Figure it out, guys.
I don't even think you guys know what side you're on.
I don't think you do. I think you just maybe we just shouldn't have a middle name. That's allowed,
Yeah.
right? Let's just quit it.
Let's just nix it entirely.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the decision since neither of you guys know what's going on. No middle name.
He also said he loved how much I wanted the middle name to be his. Admittedly, I still did want that. I thanked him for being so understanding. We've always talked about 2 or 3 kids, so maybe we'll get the chance to honor his grandfather or grandmother again. Thank you for all the comments. I feel like we're in a better place after listening to them. Lovely.
That's great.
This is great. I think it's even better that it didn't just come from you winning the argument.
Yeah.
You both acquiesced, and then after that, you
Yeah.
know, found a solution. Comment 1 says it's always a mother-in-law who wants a second chance at naming a kid when she presumably didn't even do it for her own children. He already gets the last name, and you agree on the first name, even though you came up with it. So yeah, the middle should be a compromise. Glad you worked it out. Comment 2 says, wait, you talked to each other? Listened to each other? Acted like you cared about each other? And then were both willing to compromise? Reddit's broken tonight.
Yeah, honestly, it's
Yeah.
true.
This is the best,
Yeah.
ending we've had.
It's great.
Comment 3 says, hooray! It's nice to see someone genuinely looking for feedback and then taking that feedback to heart. Also, really nice to see spouses who actually communicate. Really happy this seems to be working out. If, like you said, if you have another son, maybe you could find a first name that sounds just perfect with grandpa's. Comment 4 says, I was definitely on the OP is the a-hole side for the original post, but if OP genuinely believes that her husband changed his mind for the stated reason, and not because he felt like he had to, then I think we should obviously trust that. Glad you two came to a happy resolution. And that is the end of the story.
Wow.
Look at that.
Communication and happy resolutions.
All I can ask for.
We love to see it.
Love to see it.
Yep.